Go ahead. Welcome to the first Off-Track FMX podcast. We are on tonight with Justin Homan and my trusty sidekick, Greg Crater. Sorry, I probably should have introduced him first. But hey, we got a special guest on tonight that I have known for plenty of years. And we have a lot of stories to talk about, I'm sure. Stories to tell, things to go over about his amazing career. He's one of the best in the FMX industry. And yeah, so Justin, what's going on? How you doing?
This is my only night off, so.
Perfect. Well, that works out good because it's only my only night off as well.
So
it's his only night on.
It's my only night on or off.
No, it's my only body night, and then I got more shows coming up this weekend. So.
What are we doing this weekend?
Medford.
Well,
again.
Monster trucks. That's 4 times.
Monster trucks.
Right. 2 weekends in a row.
Who's doing it with you?
Mr. Derek Garland.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He should be on the podcast soon as well. We're trying to knock out some of the people that we know and have hung out with, but then we'll get into the other. There's a lot of you guys out there.
How does someone watch your podcast?
Well, we're working on it. This is still early on in the thing. We are. We're taping this to air. I mean, we'll air it first, but we're just putting some kind of in the can. So
we're weeks away.
Yeah, we're weeks away from the actual launch. We're just talking to people we know, and get some content together, and then launch it. So, no one will hear this for a few weeks, hopefully. Probably.
Probably. Unless we can somehow string a bunch of them together here.
Yeah.
All right. Unless I get clipped.
And at first, it's probably going to be...
we're looking for sponsorships, Homan. I mean, if you know anybody, MX13, Metal Militia, I'm throwing some names out there. I mean...
It's not a bad time to ask that question because I'm meeting with people.
See? There you go.
We'd take CBD.
Yeah, we'll take CBD. I like. Ooh, look at that gal. I'll get sponsored by her. I mean,
she's hanging on the web. She's my web.
She's missing a leg.
Oh, it's just back. It's just a bent knee.
She just has a broken leg.
It's just a bent knee.
That's what her name is.
Torturing her.
Yeah, we can't read that.
What's it say? Yeah, I can't.
It's blurry.
Your TSA thing is interfering.
He can't read it either, and he's in the room.
It's Candace.
Oh, it's Candace.
Oh, I knew a girl named
Candace.
Candace.
She looks like a Candace.
Yeah.
All right, so Homan, let's ask, when did you start riding motorcycles? What was the early days of Justin Homan? Where'd you grow up? What'd you do? How'd you get riding motorcycles?
Yeah, kind of a fun little story. I had my family, my mom and my dad and my brother all rode. My brother is 10 years older than me, so I was probably like 5 or 6, and I had a bike, but I never would ride it. And he had a desert out back, and in our backyard, what does a 16-year-old brother do to a 6-year-old little brother? He throws you on the YZ400 metal gas tank and tells you to hold on to the metal crossbar.
Yeah, boy.
When you're crying and screaming like a little baby to stop, and he wouldn't stop. So I was terrorized.
Yeah? But you still loved it?
No, he didn't. He wouldn't ride his own bike, he's saying, man.
But, I mean, he's still riding to this day.
If you started, I'd cry.
So how'd you get to love it?
That's how I feel now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. In Idaho, I never rode a bike. I had a bike from age 5 to 11, and I'd sit on it. If you started it, I'd cry.
Till 11?
Till like 11, because then I moved to Nebraska, and for Christmas, my dad bought me a PW, and I'm like 11. Too big. So 3 days later, he took it back, got me a 60. And then 3 months later, he got the first YZ80 1982 front radiator mount 80 with the number 1 already imprinted on it.
Yeah.
I think Glove was doing something back then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had that
in 3 months,
GW50.
went from 0 to 80 that I couldn't touch on the ground.
Interesting. I mean, I remember, I think the first time I saw you, knew you, was when you were racing Supercross in the Seattle Kingdom. I don't remember what year it was, but I just remember you going off the triple and chucking tricks. I think you were sponsored by SMP maybe back then.
Well, but we can go back before that.
Okay.
So my earliest memory of Homan is hockey jersey guy.
Yep.
At Jolly Rogers doing. There was this double down in the sand pit that
All right.
a couple of guys jumped the whole thing.
He's got a picture somewhere.
This,
I think he's looking. I think I have a
quad.
picture of it.
And maybe you guys were just tripling kind of because it was pretty flat in the middle of it.
Was it
Good triple.
Yeah. But there was, I think, you and like Chad Hensley and a couple of maybe 1 or 2 other guys maybe ever jumped it. But
This is a.
no, that's not Jolly.
Where's
He
that?
jumped in a race. I think he jumped on a
Where's
practice
this at,
day, but
Homan?
He can't hear you. You got to talk in the microphone.
Where's this at?
That's not. No, that's at Madras, dude.
Yeah,
That's not Jolly Walker.
Well, it was a big jump. That was a huge. That was a big connector.
Sister, everything's big. Well, yeah, that's a good story because like back, I came straight out of college. A mountain bike. All I did, I sold my dirt bike and sold my truck to try to go to college, and I got through the first couple of terms and ran out of money.
That was you,
And then
Doug.
I worked for the college in the dorms and started doing good in school. Mountain bike buddy, because that's my only transportation, said his little brother rode. So I went to SIR, never had practice days, didn't know what they were because it didn't exist in my time. And rode it. They let me ride his bike, and I was decent. And then Mike Nadeau and some other randoms from high school like started donating bikes to me, and all I had was Tonawanda snowboard pants, and Michael Nadeau gave me a hockey jersey, and that was my riding gear, and my old helmet from 1990 World Minis. And
so hold on. Let's go back then. If they're like from 11, 12, whatever, you got that YZ80. What happened there? Like you start in Nebraska and you start racing, or
Yeah, how'd World Minis happen?
it was kind of gnarly. I was in a middle class suburb. I had to push my bike through the neighbor's yard. And I was little. I couldn't even touch the ground. And after school, my mom and dad weren't even home. I'd have to just push it across the cul-de-sac between 2 yards. I was always scared and had to pin it down the county road to some cornfield that had some trails in it. It had a couple of jumps. And I was by myself 2 miles away, and I'd ride and just put in laps. And I don't know, it was terrible. If I crashed, it'd take me a half hour to get up.
Riding by yourself.
right?
Never a good
riding by
idea.
myself.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah,
some
the corn was a real thing.
Yeah, and I get sometimes the farmer dude would come or the cops would come chase me out. So I was always running from the cops, and it was always scary to go home because I had to go across the county road. The neighbor would call the cops. So I would just do that on my own. I was by myself after school and just go ride. But it was crazy in Nebraska. It was illegal to have races. So on top of all that, just noise and you're not supposed to ride, they didn't even allow racing.
Weird.
There was no tracks to race.
Huh. So when did you start racing then?
Yeah, well, yeah. You got good at some
I was
point.
railroad from Idaho to Nebraska back to Seattle. My dad was a railroad guy, worked for the Union Pacific, got transferred to Seattle, but it was cool. He bought a house that had woods across the street. And I'm 12. And being my dad, and kind of tells a little bit about me. He brings home a D9 cat and says, "Here you go." I'm yeah. And he's "Go build a cat."
So I mean, you're
I've never
14-ish.
12.
Oh, you're still 12. This is all
I was
right.
in 5th grade. I'm in the woods deforesting the Northwest. I can't stop the thing, and I don't know how. I'm too scared to tell my dad no.
Yeah. Can't say no to Pops.
Yeah.
Gotta
So
get
that's
on that bull.
My first track, a neighbor kid down the street, Brett Norris, and Tapia, Rod Tapia, Tevin Tapia's dad in high school. We're all in the same high school or junior high then. Where we built a track, had BMX jumps mostly, and then turned into a dirt bike track.
Nice.
And again, I got 2 neighbors who call the cops once out of every twice a week, and we figured out how to run from the cops a lot, basically.
So what year is this now? What year is?
He's 12.
Sixth grade.
So 6th grade.
Like 85.
85. And when did you went to World Minis? You said
In 90.
90.
That was the first time you went.
When I was in Vegas.
How'd you do there?
Uh,
Who was there? Do you remember any names, people?
Dude, it was gnarly because I raced McCormick and Huffman were there, but who was in my 125 intermediate class? Ryan Hughes beat McGrath in my class.
Nice. Solid. Those are, I think I know those
Couple
people.
Of front runners, yeah.
I've heard of the one guy.
I came from 30th to in the team because I didn't have a clutch, so it was a 4th gear start, so I was last in the first corner every moto. And I came back to like 15th, 13th, 11th, something like that, to the 3-moto format.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gnarly dude. I remember Huffman passing me and was learning how to like seat balance a kicker so you don't have to hit the kicker, and I didn't know who Hughes was or McGrath, but Brian Hughes won my class, and McGrath got 2nd. McCormick and Huffman are like 8th or 9th or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like 15th or 13th. Let's call it 13th because I like 13.
Yeah, I like 13. MX 13. Okay, so from there, that was...
So that's 1990.
90.
So between 85 and 90, you're just doing local stuff, nothing special going on.
But,
my family, we did all the Pac West, Yamaha Gold Cup, and did good. 80 beginner, 80 junior, won all that. 90, I kind of went for the Gusto mini, or not mini-O's, what do they call it? World Mini, Kawasaki Racing Champions Days.
Yeah.
And then that's 90, so I went to college.
Nice.
Quick.
Yep.
So real quick, real side note here. Speaking of Pac West, did you guys ride Pac West this weekend?
We did.
How was the race schedule? How did that pan out on Sunday?
I thought it was good. The only thing they choked on is in practice, everybody complained about the whoops, which I'm over there going, instead of like I thought they were going to take them all out.
Right.
They took one out, and I even like, you should have added 5 more. It was only 5, and they were big.
Right.
I was the only dude, even out of the Harriman and Politelli were there. I was able to pound the first 4 and then get high and just kind of case the muddy, rutted 5th one. And
was it bad muddy, wet?
It was really good. No, it rained all week, which is normal there, but it was zero rain on Sunday. It was best conditions. Awesome.
Yeah. So I've just seen a lot of stuff on Facebook today, or
on the interwebs.
On the interwebs, bad mouthing the.
Pac
It
West
sounds like
series.
somebody crashed and broke both femurs or something like that, and they took a long time to get them off the track.
My last 2 motos were a lap and a half, so that sucked.
That's what I kind of heard, and everybody was pissed about that.
I thought it was decent. They had lights. They actually anticipated it. What if? And they had like those construction lights around the track. I don't think it would have been enough, but so practice was slow because they stopped to fix the whoops, which I thought was lame because everybody needs to grow a sack and like maybe someday we'll win the designations again. Maybe not.
If we learn how to ride motorcycles.
We had some gnarly crashes, and I said the same thing when that happened in the morning. I'm like, these whoops, everybody's complaining they're hard, but no one's going to die and get hurt here. Maybe they'll hurt an arm if they're really, really terrible. But
yeah, but it slows people down.
120-foot tabletop that everybody's going to do today is dangerous.
Especially when it gets a cup in the face.
He got stutter bumps, up and weighted, endoed the 120, did the Cooper Webb fucking front flip attempt, got head shake first, and went straight to face auger. His neck was turned backwards. His head was pointing backwards. And it was so grotesque that I didn't even notice that the bike got both his femurs.
Oh.
So that dude, yeah, it was terrible. He was laying there, but there was probably some other kid on the finish line on a 60, like got out of shape on the finish line double and shot off the track and hit a guy standing there and broke his femur, and people heard it, apparently.
Jesus.
So there were 4 or 5 gnarly crashes. Like,
Sure.
ambulances were coming in and out all day.
A lot of femurs going down.
Yeah, that's a bad bone to break.
Given that, they did a pretty damn good job at mitigating and being fair as they could.
Right.
Was my
All right. I'm not trying to get way off track here.
Yeah.
So 1990, you take a break, you go to school.
Go to school, go to UW,
Go
UW
visit.
Washington,
Yeah.
Husky.
Yeah,
Graduated with a 4-year.
marijuana in my college, but I didn't know it was a male, so it didn't do nothing.
Okay, but you graduated from UW with a 4-year degree in business, accounting.
Yeah,
what was it?
Finance and accounting is my degree.
Okay, there you go. From you, I mean that's impressive, especially for a dumb freestyle motocross guy, you know.
Well, I wasn't dumb yet.
No, I'm just saying, you know.
This is pre-dumb motocross.
Yet, so,
Well, everybody's perception of the freestyle, you know.
when you
There's
think about it. I rode a Suzuki those 2 years.
that was probably not smart.
That was afterwards too, so that doesn't count.
Okay, so now
so you're out of school.
you're out of school. There's, I mean, yeah, like
What
I said,
year? What year is
Yeah,
this
what year's
comeback?
95, the mountain bike. My college buddy let me ride his little brother's bike at SIR practice day. High school buddy came out and watched me, and they're like, "Wow, you're pretty good still." And I'm like, "I haven't ridden a bike in 4 or 5 years, or 4 years. Hadn't been on a dirt bike at all." And so my neighbor buddy, like 2 weeks later, well, I just had different people going, "Hey, if you want to ride my KX 250 at Jolly Rockers, you can." I'm like, "Cool." And then the next weekend, other buddies like, "You want to ride my RM125?" So every weekend for the first 6 months, I was on then Jay Whipple's CR250. I was on a different bike every weekend.
Right.
And I was like coming in, like my run in with Carter, because he was the points leader, and Ryan Sweet, they're points leaders, and I come out of nowhere with my baggy pants.
You're hot.
So is this pre Carter's baggy pants?
It's a pre LBZ was trying to. Maybe I started it all. I don't know. I was like Tonawanda skateboard pants,
Right.
because LBZ and S&P didn't exist yet, really.
Right.
They just were starting.
Right.
And
Well,
I jumped
Carter,
a couple of those series and got into it with them and crashed and got disqualified, and I didn't care. I just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, Garrett had the GPA pants though.
the homemade.
The homemade. His
Yeah.
mom was sewing him up Garrett's pretty ass pants.
They were fleece. They had fleece on them.
Yeah.
They were like crushed.
He had velvet ones. Yeah. His mom made them though.
Yeah.
Like they weren't.
I just didn't know if that was before SMP. Or
Yeah, I don't remember
not.
either the timeline
I don't know.
on all that.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
No, he's more legit than I remember.
He had the real deal. Yeah. His mom
No,
making
he
them.
was a baggy guy. Yeah.
But again, I think that might have been after the movement had started, sort of.
Again, I have video. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more videos
So-
to watch.
So that's 95. You start riding bikes. You're getting back into it.
And then it had to be. So there was a couple of years probably riding SIR and local stuff, and then it was Seattle Supercross. And I don't know what year. I feel like I seen you there a couple of years riding.
Well, so even before that, though, you show up at Jolly and you're doing that triple. Was that your own bike? I mean, when did you buy your own bike? I guess.
I bought Jay Whipple's 123 machine CR250. It was like a 96, and then I was all stoked on the new perimeter frame.
Perimeter frame bike came out in 97. The Honda.
Yeah, so I bought his 96, and then my first new bike, which was still used, was a 97.
Right.
But that first year, I rode different people's bikes. I did intermediate and won everything. And then like the next year I went pro, so that's when I tried to do Supercross.
And you did Supercross.
98, you did Supercross? Was that what you...
98, 99, I did West Coast.
Yeah.
And I was super smart in 98, and I did 125 and 250.
Yep.
Nice.
And I never
could back then.
Supercross in my life before.
Right. Just to get time on the track, you're saying?
Showed up at A1 and did like 80 laps that day. And didn't never been on a track before.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's expensive track time, but it worked.
Yeah.
So how many rounds did you ride then? You did all the West Coast stuff?
I did at least 3 or 4. I did A1, A2. I think I did. Is there Sacramento back then?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
It came and went so many different times.
What were you out of at that point? Were you driving a van or a truck or a box van or a?
My red Super Duty.
You ride Super Duty? Okay. Yeah. I remember that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when's freestyle start then?
About the same time. I mean, as that was kind of that movement of, I did arena cross, did some supercross, and they had jump shows at halftime at arena cross, and I'm like, I just made $150, and then in my race I only made like $80.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, and like Mike Jones was doing those.
Yep.
Clifford Domptante was doing those races with me. I think
Mike Mason, I feel like, did those. Maybe he was later.
Yeah.
He might have been later on.
Yeah, it was Chris Rourke,
even Jeff Tilton.
Jones, and me racing arena cross, and we go do the jump show and did good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of, and then we all got, then like 6 months later we're all on SMP and teammates.
Right.
There you go. So that's when that all started. You were sponsored
Yeah,
by SMP at that point.
It just kind of happened.
And then when did I remember? I think early on was like Blue Torch. You were on
I don't know who it was. There was an event and we showed up at Elsinore.
Was it just one event? Was the Blue Torch? I thought there was like a Blue Torch tour that went around for a while.
I think that was later.
They had 2 or 3. They were one-offs. They were like Best in the Dirt, or it was half BMX and they did BMX and skate and moto. And Elsinore was one of the first like one-off outdoor higher dollar deals after Four Leaf. I think we already did the Four Leaf.
Four Leaf was before
Four
that.
Leaf
Okay,
was the
so
first
yeah.
one, I feel like.
I remember, and you went to that, right? In Tacoma Dome with the bowl before jumps.
I had that before because I got hurt. I got hurt after second year into the actual X Games qualifier season, and Blue Torch was my first one back after being paralyzed. So.
After being paralyzed, what happened with the paralyzation?
The San Jose, trying a new trick combo. Like it was back when Deegan and Vines had like a little hook on the back of their seat, some sort of like a metal cable instead of like cut. The seats being cut out. It was just they bolted to their seat mount bolts, like some sort of rubber handle, and Deegan had a metal one, and I had a metal one, and they're trying to do these seat grabs, or like our feet were like as high as the rear tire. I think they were super low, but it was big. I mean, Deegan won that day best trick with like some one-handed double grab. Like his feet were like barely above the
kicked off the foot pegs. Just
and I was doing some double can heel clicker saran wrap triple combo, and that's what I crashed on. My bike fell, I missed my foot. My bike fell, and my knee hit the foot peg, and it dislocated my hip.
Ouch.
So it's kind of funny. San Jose, it was like just kind of a shithole.
Yeah, not a good hospital.
And the dude on the left of me had a gunshot wound. The dude on my right had a knife wound, and I'm in the middle. And the Asian chick taking care of me is pissed at me because I was swearing, and she cut my boot off my good foot and yanked the good boot off my hurt.
On the fucking hip, out of place hip foot leg.
Because I said fuck, she like refused to give me service and took care of the knife and the gunshot wound, dude.
Perfect. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So then it was like, you have a broken back, a broken femur, and a broken pelvis. It took me 8 hours to get through x-rays to clear all that. I didn't have any of that broken. But between then, I could feel my foot. It was killing me. And then they couldn't put my hip back in. I could move my foot. I could move my leg. It was terrible pain. And they couldn't get it back in because it was just hurting too much. And then they took me in surgery, woke up in the morning, my hip's in, and then my leg didn't move, though.
Oh,
I couldn't move my leg.
So it pinched obviously at the hip. There was a nerve issue there.
When they yanked it to put it back in, they ripped my sciatic.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a great experience in San Jose.
And that still, you still feel that today, right? I mean,
well, that first 2 months, I felt nothing. It didn't. It was Mr. Deeds, you know.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like it didn't grow toenails, didn't grow hair, didn't sweat. At year 2, they're like, you haven't got anything back. You should just consider amputating from the knee down. That's what 2 of my doctors said. After 12 months, if you don't have anything, you'll never get it.
Yeah.
So that's just the common story of doctors with me. They tell you what you're not going to ever do again, and they're wrong.
Yeah, that 100%. They
So what explain what you mean they're wrong. I mean, you have feeling back now. You have how long was that? This is 97.
Yeah, it's like 99, I think.
Okay, so this is 21 years ago.
Yeah.
So now
it's like your sciatic can grow like a centimeter, but if you tear it way up here, it takes forever. I don't think it ever grew back. I think my other body parts learned how to recommunicate with my foot. So it took me. I mean, it's incremental, tiny. You can't even measure it, but over a decade or 2 decades.
2 decades. Yeah.
So it does sweat now, does grow hair, does grow I mean, it seriously didn't grow. It didn't work. And it does now. I trip a lot. I can do box jumps for the first time ever last year. I can actually do box jumps. I do still trip a lot. But there's a high spot in the floor, I find it because I trip.
Yeah.
And I can shift now, finally. For 15 years, I couldn't. Upshift a dirt bike, which is why I didn't race. That's why I took my foot peg off at most of the events. People thought I'm crazy, but
yeah, I remember you just putting it in second with your hand and then keeping your foot. Yeah,
just off and throw it on the floor. But then it got difficult when certain courses needed third and second, so it was sketchy. Yeah, just got movement back, just incremental every year. It's still not good. It's still cold. It still doesn't fully move. It's still atrophied. It's still like probably 2/3 the size of my right leg, but there was a point where all it was a bone. I have pictures of me in Costa Mesa doing shows, and it looked like I had a stint leg like a pirate. I had like the wooden leg. I did.
So is it like just knee down, or is it full hip down? Where?
What I lost initially was all I had was my quads. I lost my hams, and I lost from the knee down.
Okay.
Everything. So I have toe drops still. And really, I have the signal. It's just weak from atrophy, so it doesn't come all the way up. I can't. Like wakeboarding and snowboarding, I always fall. I can't hold the heel edge because that's
yeah.
All right. So after that, after the injury, there you come back. That's where you saying Blue Torch is the first test back after the injury.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I got called up. Hey, do the show. Invite only. Deegan rolls in his energy fun hauler. What's energy?
Yeah, Hanson's
energy or whatever. Yeah,
it's the only energy drink existing.
Yep.
It was Elsinore. It was sick. Cameron Steele had all his groms from his like beachfront like neighborhood. Twitch and his 3 spikes in his lip and scummy. It was Ragsby's road all day. It was like a BMX trail for moto all day. Oh. And then we had these gnarly so that was like the fun. There was like a dirt 6-8 pack, and then there was a ramp to dirt 2 pack, and it was just fun. Like you got tired like you motoed because you're doing so much freestyle. But then they had these other huge step up, like 120-foot huge step up. That was like the thing was like 20 feet taller.
I remember that. You were like the only one that hit it.
Well, there was another one that stepped down that no one would hit. Okay. And it was a short runway, and the dirt that the ramp was on was like 10 feet higher than the top of the takeoff. So it was a gnarly step down. And I don't know. Everyone went to lunch. Like Twitch had to go to like Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, and And because Twitch went, everybody else had to go and follow him. So, for some reason, I stayed. Me and McElroy, which me and McElroy were SMP dudes, and that's back when he was like, before he was all cool like he is now, and he's always cool. But he said he had pink hair, and he had blonde Supercross hair and pink like what is it? What are these? Sharpie? Yeah, pink Sharpie pens. Then he'd write on his boots, "It's so pretty." On everything. Everything was so pretty.
So pretty.
So me and him hung out at the SMP house and met each other, and then me and him were still riding, and I don't know, I have no idea why. That's just how I do it at home too. When I'm alone in my own world, I hit it. And my first show back, my leg's still totally paralyzed, my foot peg's double wide.
Yep.
I can't feel my foot on the peg at all.
You don't even have a shifter on the bike.
Yeah.
Do you even have a shifter on the bike at this point?
I don't think I did. I just had like a 4-inch blade for the left foot.
Because you didn't want to have an opportunity to accidentally hit. You had a numb foot. I'm
I
paralyzed.
feel it. If I hit it, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I hit it. It's just no different than hitting a Supercross triple the first time. You're scared. You kind of think you got it, and then you're like, "Oh shit!" And it was gnarly. I mean, I greased it, then I hit it, and like Cameron was down there with a couple of the kids that didn't go and freaked out, and then I don't know. I look back and I go, "I'm a dummy," because I could have won that event easily because no one would have hit that. But I did a riders meeting and like walked them through it and talked them through it, and then I went and showed them how to do it.
Everybody's hands to do the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I didn't even know what vegan. Everybody like. I go, I'll just do it. Like I told them the gear I was and how hard to hit it, and because like that's where Larry Linkogle like thought I was the baddest dude ever. He's like, "You're a fucking gnarly dude. You fucking hit that." Because there's no way any of us would have. And it was the scariest one. It was way scarier than the step up. Step ups are kind of safe.
Yeah.
Right.
But big. And then it was rad because Larry, he was like this. McElroy hit it, which was legit. He did it great. Larry was third. He fucking sideswapped it and went down. He went off it with a little bit of a kick out, and he came up short and swapped. So gnarly, like 120-foot step down ramp.
I'm just saying though, like if you watch Larry ride, it might be sort of what you would expect to happen.
Like from a professional standpoint.
I don't know Larry real well.
As
I
a
met
person?
the guy like twice, but that's sort of what I would expect to see.
All right.
It's not
He always got the ass in down. He's a great. And it was bad because all these dudes, especially in that time, we all had to do it. You know, you're a pussy if you don't.
Just one up each other. It's all about.
And it was bad. Like, and so I kind of look back. I remember that riders meeting, and like, no one else would have done that. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Kept it in their own pocket.
Right. Yep. I mean, far enough into the day, everybody knows what they're going to jump. That's the way it is. Like, nobody's going to just at the last minute go, "I'm doing it." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and later that day, the only dude that did do the step up was Mike Jones in Mike Jones fashion, and he got the gold. and because he did it and crashed, and back then you got points for crashing.
Yeah, everybody loved to see a crash. That's why they were there.
I've got some Mike Jones.
Never got negative. He kind of got a positive. He went back around and hit it and cleared it. Didn't do a trick, but back. I mean, the step. I didn't do the step up. I was scared of it. But yeah, and then what's kind of funny is I went straight from my run, and I had to go because I had to get back to work. My 12-hour drive at Ameritata was waiting for me.
Dude.
And my three-rail trailer on a Subaru Outback, I rolled straight from my run, rolled my three-rail on, hopped in the Subaru with my gear on, and took off and didn't even see my score. And they're like, "Who's that fucking guy in the Subaru?" Like, and that's where I don't know if you guys later, we were wondering who the hell you are. He's from Oregon and Pacific Northwest, weirdo guy. Had the pink militia helmet. And they had no idea what to think about us. Me and Ryan Anderson. And I was like, but I came at home, so I had 14 hours to make a 12-hour drive to get back to work at 6 a.m.
And that's what he did. That's one of the, that's one of the most, the trips I've had with Homan, I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, he's like, we got to get back. There's no sleep. There's no time to sleep.
Nope.
It's just to the show, maybe a hotel for a brief minute, and then just home. Like, hey, the promoter's got us a hotel, so we might as well go look at it.
Right, sister, it's easy. I'll help you drive. You almost rolled my trailer.
Yeah, hey, that story's coming up. That story's I almost killed the whole family. I get it.
I can't even sleep because I can't trust any of you guys. I have to sleep with one eye open.
Hang on. That story's coming up.
I know this.
Still down.
I felt this.
That's down the road.
Yeah, you almost killed us all.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. Keith Sayers is behind us. He can vouch for it too. It happens. I mean,
Sayers saw you do it. You almost rolled
I know. I wasn't planning on it.
My four-wheel trailer come off the ground.
Well, it wasn't my objective.
So wait, hold on.
I gotta pee.
So, all right, we're gonna take a potty break.
Yeah, I gotta take a talk. You gotta go back a little bit though.
Well, yeah, we'll go back here. All right, so coming up here, we'll talk about what year is that? This is like 99.
Ooh, man, I don't even know what that was for. Where he was?
No, before, not the truck, not that show at Elsinore. That's like 99, you think?
99, 2000. Because it was on TV. It was like back in the day when stuff would air 2 months later, and I was like,
or it would just come out on whatever video got released.
Yeah, it was like the King of Dirt that weekend because that was the first one to hit it, and
right.
Yeah, it was a cool it was a core action sports like BMX.
Right.
It's mostly BMX, but Moto was new.
Yep. Well, and I remember that in who knows what video it's in, but I do remember seeing that. I know that step up you're talking about and that step down. Then it must have been they must have left that there and shot more footage at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they did because it was Elsinore and they built a pretty good set.
Right. So now we got sister coming back here. So we got let's say we're in 2000-ish. What happens after that? Because at this point you're still not a militia guy. I mean, you're still
2000.
You're doing this.
S&P was rad in the beginning because they got all the dudes together and they had a Supercross team. They had all the freestyle guys and they were doing demos and they really supported the whole freestyle movement that all of us, Kerry Hart, Mike Metzger, Deegan, Sink Mars, we were all racer dudes. We had numbers on our plates still, and
for sure.
And we were trying to do Supercross, and then there was a jump show. Let's go do it, and it was funner, and then we
made more money
all week and pay AMA $250 and spend $200 on sprockets and chains and maybe make $200, and then we go to a freestyle show and make $800, $1,000, $1,500. So yeah, everybody's like, this is way funner and better. But the industry, some of us had some sponsors in Supercross. We're like going, no, if you're gonna do freestyle, we're gonna clip you from our program.
Yeah. That was a big deal back then. It was a taboo industry. Like, oh, you're a freestyler? Nope.
Yeah, it was like you can't hack Supercross. So, and then we were making fun of like the bleach hair and the certain Supercross type rider, how you had to look and be a certain way, and
blonde tips.
No, it was the opposite.
You mean every Supercross rider?
Yeah. I'm not saying I never had frosted tips. I mean,
you had frosted tips every year.
Yeah, I mean, even though like Malcolm, it was a stereotype, and like Deegan lost his gear ride, so that's why he wore fatigues. In some ways, it's great because he lost his ride, so him and Larry went to the local like outlet. What's one of those places called?
Yeah, I know. The Army store.
Army Surplus.
Army Surplus. Yeah.
Army Surplus. Yeah, and like gear.
It's where I buy my ammo.
There you go.
And then against all of it, and then like energy drinks came out, and Verizon
Hanson,
came out.
Sobe.
These dudes. Oh, we're getting on TV, and Supercross. You got to wait 3 months and at midnight to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the media really, really helped it. Pastrana's backflip, the whole Deegan evil, Pastrana good, like everybody played into it. And BMX and skate, all those guys were the reason it got big. X Games just got big. So good timing, and And yeah, it was awesome. Like I missed that first round because I was doing Supercross and probably working, and then I did all the 4-leaf tour, and S&P helped me out with a lot of shows, and did X Games, and always did better at shows. I always did better at the event X Games than I did at home. So it just fit my style.
So when was like the Unleash the Freaks tour, the Tex Games? That was early on too, 2000s ish, because you did some of those events.
They just started. A lot of promoters saw the X Games, so they tried to copy it.
Yeah. And then there was what was the Rhode Island? That was Gravity Games. You did Gravity Games back in the day.
Yeah, Gravity. NBC had the same thing.
That was a long trek for you, though. You drove there, right? I mean, how'd you get there? How'd you get your bike there?
No, I didn't. Tably, the guys that do, they shipped our bikes.
Okay.
But that's a bad story. Then they couldn't find it when I got there.
Because that was super young. That was super early too. That was like 99, 2009.
That was first gen Honda. So.
Yeah, you were on a Suzuki. Yep.
Yeah, and I was paralyzed from that same era.
Fuck.
So, and I got some kid in the stand said he had an RM. He went home and got it, and I just decided to ride it, but it was halfway blown up. And it was crazy. I mean, that's how stupid I am. Like, that's some kid that just happened to be there said he had an RM. So they couldn't find my bike. Thanks, NBC.
I had a guy set me up one time with this trip to go do a show. And
might have been in Uganda.
And he set me up with this 03 CR250. It might have been worse.
Might have had a carburetor fall out of a boot.
We'll get there. We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're work to that story. We'll get ahead. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Gravity was gnarly because it was all dirt to dirt, and you didn't know if it's second or third. And it's just like a racetrack. You didn't
100%.
know trajectory is different.
Well, they had like a wall for the first time.
It was a big
like
course too. It was like X Games, but it was the Gravity Games. It was in Rhode Island. It was a big deal. Like it was a large course, and it was all dirt. Right, there was no ramps.
Some city. It was like where all the transients slept because it was like a park. And the biggest thing we were scared of was crashing and having a needle get us. Because the dirt was full of fucking throwing away needles.
Awesome. Always a good thing.
It's like, no, this is stuff you don't like. That's the biggest thing we're worried about is crashing and going down and getting a needle. And then the next year, that's where Hart did the first backflip attempt.
Yeah.
Which was 95% legit.
Yeah. And that's when it all started. And like you were, I think what they say, the 8th person in the world to ever do a backflip on a motorcycle. Is that what the statistics show? Yeah.
2003, I was the 8th dude to ever land it in competition.
Yeah.
There wasn't really people. Most of those guys, first time they ever did it was in competition. That was my first time.
Yeah, you guys didn't have all these.
No foam pits.
You did have a foam pit at your house eventually, but not back then.
No, I'd done some. I had a foam pit. It was tiny, but I wasn't in best trick. I was like 5th alternate.
Okay.
But because of that year, I trained at home, but I never took it to dirt because I didn't think I'd really get in. And then practice at X Games, 5 dudes got hauled off on stretchers. Vice, trying to do flips. They were trying to do flips in practice, and they all crashed because that was their first attempt.
Yeah.
They called and said, "Hey, Homan, all these other guys are out. You're in. Come on in. Let's see a backflip."
Right? Great comfort. Like,
right.
So many dudes got hauled off. Like Caleb Wyatt, Vice tried to 75-footer and only got halfway around. Nate did a 75-footer that year, but me and Bartram was our first flips, and no one knew I was going to do it. I knew I was going to because I had to, but the people around me had no idea. I did the Holy Grab, and then I did 2 backflips because you had 3 hits.
Were you?
And that just came up a little short and bounced.
Was that the same contest because there was a contest you brought the Holy Man out, and that was like it's obviously named after you.
Nashville X Games qualifier. I did the Holy Grab and the Rock Solid debuted the first time ever in that.
And what year was that?
99, I think.
trying to get our years, trying to
Right.
go accordingly, but we do jump around a little
Right.
bit probably.
It's
But
gonna happen. So
no, actually 2001.
okay,
yeah, because it was that second gen Honda frame with the
That's
X-Skater
right.
graphics.
2001.
No, you had the snowmobile.
oh, that was another. That's another
snowmobile
story.
graphics.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe snowmobile graphics. I remember he had those for a while. The X.
WSA, because I did Winter X.
Okay, so the Winter X, you had the on the first one. You were like the first one to have a sled on your front tire wheel assembly. What
But
prompted
so
that? Or
when you did your first backflip, though, were you already a militia guy at that point, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Militia, Utopia, shift guy.
So how did the militia deal come about then?
yeah, what year do you enter the militia?
I don't know. Those guys, me and Anderson, P&W Anderson,
Yep. I know the
on
guy.
the Instagram.
I know the guy.
We would like film Deegan and Larry and like make fun of them, like Beavis and Butthead, like look, getting on chicks. Look at them. Wow. Oh, they're getting pumped up. And like, we liked them. We kind of idolized them, but we also are like their nemesis. Right?
Yeah.
And we weren't in the militia, but we'd show up with pink militia skulls.
So was
And they're
Anderson riding too?
Yeah,
See, I don't know that much about Anderson.
he's. I mean, he's.
Was he doing freestyle with you, like going to shows and stuff and trying?
He's hit ramps. I mean, he does.
Was he better than Jeff?
Yeah.
He was in as hard as I was in. So it was rad. He'd roll up in his Honda Civic wagon, and he'd like roll up at the dorms and spend the whole afternoon taking his bike that was apart in the back of his Honda Civic wagon.
Yeah.
Now it
He
took
was
a
way
half a
harder
day
than
to
Sister
rebuild
Yeah.
because the seat and swing arm and handlebars had to be off.
Yeah.
You eating
And
powdered donuts?
he just hit on all the college girls while he's putting his bike together. And he was there to go. We're gonna go. Because we're on our way down to Nevada or Havasu to do a jump show. So he'd show up. As far as I knew, we're riding together. We're gonna go hit this up. But as soon as we get there, he's like, "No, I'm Homan's mechanic."
Oh, all right. I've had
Same as
those
sister.
guys.
Same as sister.
Yeah. Was he just there to sign autographs?
Hey,
No,
we'll get to those.
His bike was ready. It
We'll
had
get to
the
those
Marilyn
My
Manson
bike's always ready too, bro.
strung out 900 graphics. It had the seat hold to grabs. It was ready. And then he would never get on
But
the
he
bike.
wasn't.
Homan,
He wasn't ready.
who signed more autographs? Me, you, Anderson. What? I mean,
You.
yeah. All right, there we go.
How many chicks did you get from that?
I mean, what? How many? What?
Chicks. I didn't stutter.
There was a couple in Montana. Do you remember? The sisters.
What about see? Well, come on.
There's a few stories we can get to later. I mean, well, if you want to talk about it, I mean,
I don't need to talk about it. I already know.
all right, okay. Well, we're still working our way towards that.
Like, sure, I'll sign autographs because I'll be cool and hit on chicks. Go look at yourself. Of course, you're a freestyler.
Exactly. You say
Yeah,
freestyle's
tattoos, I
dead.
didn't. So of course, it was him.
Right.
Yeah.
Who did the backflip? That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happily said it. Here's the Sharpie, bro. Go.
So many people got the wrong autograph.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's great.
Hundreds.
That's great.
He was my front signature guy.
Thousands, yes. Homan
Man,
just
that's
put me
Tom
on the spot. He's just like, hey,
That guy-
people
the guy
would come
that
up and they're
actually
like,
did the backflip?
who was flipping tonight? And Homan's just like, he did.
That guy.
I'm like,
The guy that actually did the backflip's taking a nap in the truck.
yeah.
So I'm signing for him.
Yeah. Pretty much. Homan's going to drink.
They believe you more than they believe me.
Yeah, true.
The guy that has to go home and go to work. Nah, he didn't do it.
No. Not at
The
all.
guy
Okay,
that-
so where are we at here?
And still got up.
Yeah. Where are we at in Homan's career? What year are we in right now?
Well, I don't know.
2000.
We're in the early 2000s, let's say.
Still X Games qualifier. First backflip was 03 for
Yep.
me.
There you go. So we'll take it from there.
Yep. This is kind of when we started like our amazing friendship.
So yeah, the 03 was like
When did you meet Bots? I mean, how long did
I
you?
rolled in there, did it, and the phone rang off the hook. WHR, Arena Cross,
Yep.
NPR, Motorsports, Calspell, and all the local shops like wanted to do demos, and that
Yeah.
phone just rang off. Guys I already done shows from, but they want to pay me triple or quadruple what I'd made the year before.
RMC. There was RMC. There was. I mean, yeah, the Evergreen State Fair. There was. I mean, shows everywhere at that point.
Yeah, like Nate Adams, he was getting paid 40 grand. Metzger was getting paid like 40 grand to go
Jesus.
like overseas and do a backflip.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
That's good money for a weekend.
Money, but what was gnarly for me locally is like Hart did a backflip, Metzger did backflips. He did some overseas, but at X Games they did them, and then they would sign up for do shows, and then they get chicken out when they want to do them because all of our demos are like metal to metal.
Sketchy, just you're in a foreign country,
and whatever weather, and you don't, yeah, you're not in a building.
The reward to huck it, and even if you crash, you made money wasn't there. It was like, so I got called like a ton of dudes committed, and then they backed out and wouldn't do it. So I was one of the only guys that would actually go to a demo.
Homan doesn't back out. Homan does not back out. Places maybe he should, he doesn't. So Homan.
I know for sure that I wasn't even
that's
worth
you.
it. That's why I had a 20-year career.
That's why you are who you are. I mean, yeah.
I don't even know. But so the phone rang off the hook, and then I even got calls all the time because Parsons and a couple other dudes that did it, they would back out, and they want me to fly in for Saturday only to take the dude. We ride the dude's bike and take his spot. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ride some other, fly in, swoop on his bike, and just hit some ramp I don't know. It really took off. I built my own landing ramp prior to that. I started doing my own demos prior to that. And once I flipped, it was like
game on. Game on.
Yeah,
militia flips, and you're
not accidental, but
yeah, you worked for all of it. I mean,
well, that's because I would go home. I wouldn't go do a show unless I'd already done 10 flips that week at home.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't do it, and that's how I trained. And all these other guys, they were scared and they wouldn't do them, or they do them in their phone pit and then go to the show and freak out.
And you'd flip at home, if it was windy, if it was raining, you'd just be like, I gotta go do 10 flips. Like I have to get my work done. Like it doesn't matter. We got to figure this out. And that's how you're able to do shows anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, I only had a window of time. I work 8 to 5, my corporate job, and I get home between 5 and 6 and it's dark. If it's windy or not, I had to go.
Yep.
So it wasn't like I'm just gnarly and crazy. Like I have to learn. To me, doing it in that situation was better than doing it cold turkey in the event. And like all my friends in California, they ride it at morning, sun up and sun down because there's no wind. So we'd go to demos and it's windy and they're over it. They're out. Top dudes, guys I respect, Potter, Twitch. They're like, I'm over it. We're out.
It. Yeah.
I hit it. And then if I hit it, because we're a bunch of boys still, they'd hit it. So that's why I got so many shows and why I got repeat 15, 15, 20-year customers, because no matter what, rain, wind, or shine, I would still do the show. And I mean, it's kind of weird talking about this, looking back on it, because I didn't really have that intent, or I was gnarly I hate today's send it. I hate just wide open. I'm anti all that. I'm not
but
like
that
wasn't
you did that, but you had the skills and talent. You've done all the shit before to prepare for. I mean, being able to.
Well, you'd ridden in the wind already. You'd done the flips that week. You'd known what your abilities were, and if you were in a situation where you didn't feel that good about it, you probably wouldn't have done it. But you felt confident enough to do it, so you did it.
Yeah, it's not talent; it's the hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
I ride diligent. Even now, I have a schedule: Tuesday, Thursday, and then shows. If I'm not doing shows on the weekend, I'm riding Saturday, Sunday too. I gotta go do my set, and whether it's windy or not, headwind, side wind, tailwind, I had to figure it out. Because to me, that was less scary than going to the show with no riding under my belt.
Right, but that's what these guys. Not to take anything away from freestyle guys that are working at it, but a lot of them were not working at it. They were doing, like you said, ramp kids, and the ramp kids didn't have the skill set anyway. They don't use their front brake. They don't even understand what the bike skills are to begin with. Yeah. But you were putting in the work and had the talent to do it because you put in the work.
I almost don't even want to own the talent. I just worked harder. I rode more. Johnny the boy would come over. I'm like, you didn't come over today. Well, my mentality: 4 dudes just got better than you today because you didn't ride today. If you would have rode today, you would have got better than 10 dudes, maybe plus the 4 dudes that just got better than you. That's just how the mentality is. every day I don't ride, dudes just got better than me because they're riding and I'm not. And I guess it worked the other way around because I wasn't naturally talented like a lot of these guys. I just worked harder.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's just worked harder. And I put in the time. And nowadays, I'm older, I'm putting the time at the gym and I'm still riding. And it's hard, it's scary. But even this last month and a half getting ready again, I was struggling and scared. And then I go do a show, no wind because it's inside, kill it. Perfect. Everything's like, no way. I can't even believe that's me.
But like you say, this is 20 years later. This is
this is 2020.
How old are you now?
I'm 46.
Right. You're not 20. You're not 26. You know what I mean? So that's the difference now, though.
Well, there are no youngsters anymore.
No.
They're all the main dudes that are rad are like Mike Mason, and they all because they have kids now, they want to show their kids what they do, and they're all 30-somethings.
Right.
John and Keith Sayers, they're the top dudes. All the 20-somethings and younger are scared and don't know how to ride a dirt bike at all. Worse than ramp kids in our day, what we called ramp kids. It's a whole nother generation of terrible.
Yeah. It's a whole nother generation of terrible. That's good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
A whole nother generation of terrible.
It is. Go watch Snow Bike Best Trick.
I did.
The jump's too small, and those things don't know how to front flip and land it in a sack of powder. And
yeah. What happened when the Winter X Games?
Let's go to that. Let's go to some Winter X Games.
Yeah, when you rode it, when it was real dirt bikes on big ice ramps and big ice landings.
Yeah, that was scary. I mean, the first year was funny, and I was kind of an outcast. Like, some company was going to pay you $1,000 to put some ski on the front to like.
Yeah, how'd you get invited to it, or where?
It would punch through, and then you'd go over the bar. So none of us knew at all, and it was real snow that year.
Yeah.
First year, and I show up late because I had to work.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
late. Everybody was there. Mike Jones thought he should get paid $5,000, so he convinced, unless we're getting paid $5,000 each, no one should run it. So no one ran it. I show up, there's one on my bike, and I get $1,000. I'm like, thank you, I paid for my plane ticket. and I'm stoked, and I don't care if it doesn't bust through, cool, and if it does, who cares? And I did it that year. I did like the Superman hill clicker, no hander lander or something, which is kind of
triple
a big
combo. That was a triple combo. I mean, people to this day don't do a lot of triple combos. Like, that's impressive.
No one even does no hander landers anymore.
Yeah, that's obsolete.
So that was that same kind of thing. It's like everybody's a anarchist, but then they all follow the leader.
Weird. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that was a fun year. And then, but the years after that, was 115 feet when Deegan broke his wrists and ankles.
Yeah.
Or his femurs, I think. 115 feet, and at night they would take a fire hose and hose it down. You couldn't walk on it. It wasn't
pure ice.
Just sketchy AF.
With screws in our tire, and because it's pure ice, it's all ruts.
Yeah.
So you can't carve anything.
Yeah.
So it's sketchy, and it's 115 feet, which is why that's
a big jump. And what year is it? What year is this?
2004, 5, 6. I mean,
okay.
Because Deegan did that's why he couldn't carve the ramp when he did his backflip kind of turn down, and that's when he had to abort mission.
Yep, and that was ejected from 50 feet in the air or whatever.
115 feet.
Yeah,
and he jumped a lot farther than 115 feet to land.
Yeah,
on his femur. Yeah. On his side.
Yeah, but no one gets it. I mean, that year I'm looking at a picture. I did a gnarly no-handed lander. I did the same thing. I did hill clicker. Superman hill clicker, no lander, but it's 115 feet, and it was no one got it. It's pure ice. It's just
that's sketchy. That's gnarly.
I don't run that great, and it was just, and you get held for TV, and you can't practice either because the track can't take it.
And it's cold as shit, and you're wearing extra gear.
Yeah, you're in Colorado.
Your movement's restricted.
Bitter cold.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, so I'm glad I did it, but it was terrifying for all of us. I mean,
how many years did that go on? 3, 2, 3?
4, maybe 5, because I judged it the last year.
Okay.
When
that's a
Mason
move.
won it, and then I got accused of favoring Deegan and Ox because they got gold and silver.
Oh god, it was a militia fucking conspiracy.
But I actually voted Mike Mason first. My top scorer was Mike Mason. He did a gnarly holy grab. Of course.
There you go. Weird. Weird. You like that trick?
That's when Mason blew his top, and Deegan had to throw down in the tent with him later.
Nice.
Deegan Metzger was ripping his number plate off the tent roof and throwing bikes around and talking shit that it was rigged and that because a militia judge made him gold medalist. But the score showed I picked Mike Mason.
Yeah.
Top scorer. And Ox was second and Deegan was third, I think. And Metzger, because that year it was funny because Metzger was the only one. We're having a judges meeting. Metzger walks by and he wants to know what's going on. I go, and they say, we're basically this year we're judging since Winter X, the tricks are usually a notch down from Summer X because you're on ice.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Weird.
It's usually a repeat trick. If you do a repeat trick from Summer X, you're probably going to win the gold. So Metzger was the only one that got to be in on the judges' part. Or basically we're looking for execution and how clean you land. Well, Metzger usually lands with his hands between his elbows every time. And he does gnarly tricks and sends it, but it was and we told him that, and that's why he got judged down. He did some crazy tricks and did good. It's just it was sketchy. Whereas the dude Ox did awesome. He did like some I don't know what he did. I think he might have done a seat grab backflip or something. I don't even know, but yeah, it was like it was cool because Deegan got gold, Ox got silver, and Mason got bronze.
There you go.
Who are the other judges?
McElroy.
I want to say McElroy was in there, and then who's the blonde-haired dude from Nevada that always does a reclaim? McElroy for sure. Another skate BMX guy, a snowboard guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the blonde-haired guy's name. He does all the Tabley film stuff. He was hired by Paul Tabley, which he purposely put. I was the token militia guy, so
you were the scapegoat. You were there for a reason.
It wasn't fucking what's that guy's name? Malcolm McCasey, was it?
No. All
right.
I would have put my fingers through his hair if he was there.
Sexy. All right, so what year are we at now?
So that's Winter X. That's 05, 06.
05, 06. So
not much. I just did International X. Was like they're walk-offs.
Right.
And you did a cool. What was that trip to Dubai? What year was that? Or who was that with? What was that? I think.
That's the International X that you're talking about. Right?
No, that wasn't.
FMX Riot.
Okay.
FMX Riot 3.
Yep. Yeah. Who was there? Todd Potter or Ox?
Riot 3. It pops right up. Out there with the camels.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of camels.
Yeah, so basically I did demos and got invited to a handful. I've done 12 X Games. I won a few of those overseas ones. 2 of them got a bronze and another one. Yeah, but they were invite only. It's only like a 4 or 5 rider field. So yeah, I got bronze out of 4.
I'd claim.
But back then, it was only 2 of us would flip, like Diamond Dave Domangos. And they'd like build your landing out of bamboo sticks, and it was still gnarly.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So let's get into some of that after X Games type stuff where you're going.
We're going to local
weird
shows
events.
now?
Beyond local events. We all know about local events. Everybody's seen that. Been to a fair and seen whatever.
Yeah.
But let's talk about weird overseas invites because it seems like you've done a bunch of that stuff. What's some good stories
same
about that
thing
stuff?
is like when at home, you guys talk about conditions. I worked for an evangelist out of Portland, Oregon, Lewis Plow organization. Interesting stuff. You find out Caribbean, like Jamaica, Haiti.
So you had a bad experience in Jamaica, right?
I did.
Is that where you broke your femur?
Yeah. It was windy as shit. Really bad windy, and I missed the peg and dabbed and broke my femur.
Right? Big landing.
I broke my femur. Like my doctor said, get it out. You have so much bone. no way you'll ever break there. But we all know if you're a construction guy, it's going to break where it broke before anyways. But that was sketchy and scary, and that's where I found out the evangelists. I don't know if it was really there for evangelism because all the banners were the chicken company.
Yeah, they were.
Weird.
No, it was the
Weird.
what was the fryer? No, what was it called?
It was the little chicken hens were everywhere. The little logo of the chicken hens. It was the broilers. The broilers. Yeah, because you did that, Greg.
I did the Haiti one.
Yeah, the Haiti one.
Haiti show was the same deal.
The chicken broilers.
Yeah.
So we weren't really jumping for Jesus. We were jumping for the chicken.
Well, the whole deal, I think, with the
big
chicken was
chicken.
they were like selling the chickens to the people to raise them, to give them jobs, and then buying the chickens back after they full grown chickens so they could slaughter them.
They sold them hens.
So they were raising the chickens for
chickens.
them. Yeah, they were trying to bring some commerce bringing jobs into the.
Basically, they fed the Caribbean with their chicken, and they're rich.
Right. So you break your femur over there, though, and they take you to a local hospital, I assume. That can't be that good.
Were you at that one? Were you at Jamaica?
I wasn't there, no.
Who was my other dude? I can't remember.
Johnny the boy.
Yeah, so it was just terrible. It was a terrible experience. The dude that admitted me from the ambulance, he was a 7-foot tall dude, black guy, of course, Jamaica. He had a neck brace on, and I had like a broken neck brace on. He was the same dude that did my X-ray. My X-ray was on my leg was propped up with a Dairy Gold milk crate. And then when I was in my room, which was a skirted room, like MASH 4077, they didn't have a traction bar. I had an ER doctor with me from the States. He was going to make a traction bar. They freaked out. I refused any meds because I was refusing service. I'm not taking any meds.
Real quick, I'm pretty sure that nobody even like 35 years old is going to understand your MASH joke there, just so you know.
That's fine. We're telling old jokes. You
have to be old. Well, that wasn't in Vietnam. Was that Vietnam? Yeah.
MASH. I mean, so there was
like MASH until I was older. Anyways,
I didn't either. That's what's funny. I only watch it. I watched it when I was like 30. Yeah. I probably started to watch 25 maybe.
So there was bed sheets hung on metal fixtures.
Yeah. There wasn't a door. There wasn't a door in the room. It was open with some sheets
bed
around
sheets
to cover the bed.
Hung on metal.
You didn't have that. There's no metaphor to even explain in today's term what that is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way,
go ahead.
So yeah, you're laying there and they're gonna build a traction bar and they're freaking out about it.
No, I was a guinea pig. All the nurses and they're in jeans with their polo shirt. And the same dude that admitted me did my X-ray. He's the guy changing my bedpan, and I'm like looking at him because he's got a broken neck brace on. I don't know what he's doing, but I just refused service. I had a broken femur. I'm like, I'm not taking any pain meds. I gotta get out of here. So good. The good thing I was with Rich Evangelist is they threw me on the hardboard into their private plane and flew me to Miami.
Nice.
They dropped a rod in. They flew me there Saturday. They dropped a rod in Saturday. I screamed and bitched and moaned to get out. On Sunday, they said no. I got out of bed and walked down the hallway without crutches, and they got freaked out. I said, I need to get out of here. So they let me out. They said, if you can walk, and they're like, ha, if you can walk. I'm like, I got out of bed and walked down the hallway.
I get out of here in a bad way.
So they admitted me. I flew home and walked into work on Monday, and no one at my work even knew I had a broken femur. I even though I broke it a day and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay, but hang on. What year is this? This isn't your first injury. Like, I want to hear where.
Oh, we skipped the whole.
Yeah, no, we
skipped a real major injury.
We skipped a foot peg and a heart.
Yeah,
I think
we missed a big one.
We missed that one. In Eugene, I think that you did a flip and the bike landed on top of you and it punctured your.
That was just normal shit. I have to do a lot of shows. I have an 8 to 5. I had the flip wired, but then I showed up. I didn't need to practice. So this is where you should practice. Stupid I worked till late to get worked late to get those extra 2 hours, so I could have an extra 2 hours to do a show some other day.
There you go.
Save my PO. Show up at some show I've done before. I'm getting paid high dollar because I'm the only one that got a flip. Well, B-Lark, Levi, and Cleve, they have expanded raised on their takeoff ramps versus expanded flat. So I hit the 75 footer, didn't practice, and I was looping out. I was like, why am I looping out? Well, I found out later it's because expanded raise gives you more traction and it loops you out. So on the super kicker, which back then that's all we flipped on, It had expanded raise too. So instead of doing a flip, I did a flip and a half. And when I landed looped out, but I held on just long enough that it ripped out of my hands at the same time it catapulted me forward. The bike flew in front of me, landed on its side, and I did a WWF. I know everybody's too young to know what that is.
WWE.
Boy! Body slammed my bike when the foot peg went through my chest.
Yeah.
And I was wearing all white shift gear that day.
Perfect.
That was a brutal day.
I think we have photos that we can maybe upload with this.
We have some pictures that
just
link to.
I don't need photos of that.
No, stop it. They're.
And when all the cowboys, you know how cowboys are, just stand there and stare at you, and I'm looking at you, and I'm bloody.
Like you're a horse that just came up lame.
Yeah, they wouldn't move. I'm like, fucking go help me.
Look at
Oh,
that guy.
yeah, even that picture.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you had one while I was sitting there.
No. I wasn't there. That was a weekend I was not at one of your shows. I've traveled a lot with you, been to a lot of shows.
Missed that one.
That was not one I was at. Thank God. I mean,
he was actually painting his toenails with Anderson that day.
Yeah, or bots. One of the two.
I do have no. I did used to have in formaldehyde.
Yeah.
In formaldehyde, I used to have the chunk of my foot peg when I drove.
We have the photo of the flesh.
Yeah, I remember you have it. Yeah, you have it in formaldehyde. Is it? It has to be still there, right? This little guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I put that in formaldehyde because that was from my.
Dude, yeah.
You see these?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are big chunks.
These are 2 pieces of my heel that shot out the bottom of my feet.
That
Nice.
same day? No.
No, that was when I was trying to impress Twitch and Scummy at my house.
Oh dear.
When we had a job, and I OJ'd the rhythm section in my Diadora boots, of which Scummy and 2 other dudes that year blew their heels out in the same pair of boots.
They tried to make me wear Diadora boots when I went to England to race, and
what is all that stuff?
I didn't
That's
wear
a
them.
lot of fucking screws and shanks.
That's what held my heels together after I blew them up.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Heels are painful, man. That's not a good bone to break apart.
I used to be 5'11". I'm 5'10" now.
Yeah. Heels are bad.
Heels are bad. Homan has had a lot of injuries, unfortunately.
No, I've had 5 over 10 years.
I was gonna
20
say,
years.
considering the career, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
realistically, for what he was doing, he should consider himself pretty lucky.
It's like a Mad Max part 1. I know none of you will know. It's like, if you're going to do the bronze, you do it big.
So
I forgot how much of a fan you were of Mad Max.
What year was the story when we went to it was up in Bellingham or past Bellingham up to Canada or whatever.
UFC fight thing.
No, not the UFC fight one. Well, we did a couple. There was one show in Canada. I know it was in Canada. I think it was me, you, and maybe I don't know if Sayers was there or not. Maybe it was just me and you. But we went there. You got a ton of tickets from the promoter.
Anderson actually did a show.
Well, hang on. So
the Canadian one? Wait,
was Anderson there?
Alaska.
Alaska.
The UFC, before UFC happened, but
yeah.
MMA fight thing.
So we're in Canada, and the promoter, I think it's in the BC Center or something.
Where in Alaska? Where in Alaska are you doing a show, an MMA fight?
I think it was Anchorage. We did 2 different ones. I sent McElroy to one, and I went to the other one. McElroy's countershaft sprocket fell off, and he wasn't happy.
Again, hey, okay, I'm gonna jump to another story. Do you remember doing the what was? There's a.
I'm gonna mute him. I'm muting him.
Why? No.
So wait, no, Alaska. His countershaft sprocket falls off. Is it because he's on borrowed equipment?
Yeah.
So you guys are, you're not flying bikes up. You're not shipping bikes. You're always on something borrowed. And he didn't bring anything, he didn't check any bolts. He didn't do anything like that.
Well, he sent pictures, and the thing looked cute, but it wasn't functionally cute.
Right. Okay. So go ahead, Jeff. You can.
Okay, so we'll go back to Canada. We'll go back.
Looking cute, but functionally sucks.
It wasn't so pretty. It wasn't so pretty.
No, he rode most of the show, and then it fell off because the dude forgot to tighten the countershaft sprocket.
That's like my greatest fear in motocross is my countershaft sprocket falling off.
Which should never, ever happen.
It should never happen. I've seen it happen to one kid. I was 20 feet away from this dude at a supercross practice track in Arizona, and it was like step on, table to table, step off. And he went to go table to table, and it had like a little kicker on it. Like it was easy, and it was like actually up a little higher. But his countershaft sprocket came off on like going off of the first table, and he just endoed straight into the face of the next one and snapped his wrist in like the worst way possible. Because I mean, you have full expectation that it's going to snap and go. You're on a 450 like fuel injected bike probably, and it didn't go. And it was like it's one of my greatest fears in life. Right?
Did you know who the guy was?
Yeah. I was parked right next to it. There was only 3 of us at the track.
Yeah,
Dude.
Jesus.
Like,
yeah, terrible.
Shirley or something. Last name Shirley.
I've only changed one twice in my whole life.
I'm pretty sure we changed them in Haiti. Maybe it was just my bike that needed one.
No, one of them they would have the wrong one because they had street gearing on them.
It was bad, and like mine had no teeth on the back
When you
sprocket.
get a freestyle bike and it's got like a 34 on the back and a 15 on the front, it's because it's a family of 4 daily driver.
right. But it came out of like Miami or something. That's what was weird.
It still could be a family of 4 daily driver coming out of Miami.
They're doing street wheelies at 85.
It's a wheelie, yeah. It's a 504 boys or whatever.
The Wow Boys were getting it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Homan, we're in BC, Canada, doing a show at the BC place. I think you get
you're caught up on the French Quarter.
You get like 15 extra tickets, and you make me go sell them on the street. Do you remember this? I go sell them on the streets of Canada.
Montreal.
We didn't need them. We're like, Homan's like, go sell them. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Hey, I'm resourceful.
It was 15 for the promoter gave us like 15 or 16 free tickets, and you're like, go pimp them on the street. I'm like, all right, that's something, sister, to do.
Right, it worked, right?
We got money. Yeah,
you got root beer and Pez dispenser candy.
10-4. It was amazing. Another show up that way we did at a time. It was definitely a Lee Collins show, WHR Motorsports. Mike Metzger's there, and there was a ton of people. I think Frisbee Sayer. There was a ton of good dudes there. You were kind of mocking Metzger, I think, because Metzger ends up doing his run, and he sends his bike into Lee Collins. Do you remember this? Just knocks Lee Collins off his feet.
And he ghost rode it?
Well, he kind of like skidded out, and the bike's like slid into Lee. Like, yeah, it was great. It's a good memory Montana. I have. Huh?
Is Canada or Montana?
No, this is like up in the Ferndale area, Bellingham, Ferndale, or something. It was on. I think it was on this side.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
we
came in on the ferry. Maybe we might have done a show somewhere up on
we had your dad had to drop you off.
Yes.
And you were like, yeah, we had the show in Bellingham. Ran across the ferry with my militia ramp to this fairgrounds.
Yeah, there was a fairgrounds, but it was like in Port Angeles or Port. Yeah. And then we took a ferry up to Bellingham and went to Ferndale, and then Metzger took out Lee Collins. It's the greatest part of the story ever.
Well, it was like a sand rhythm section just to get to the ramp, so it was because it was last minute prep.
I didn't ride that one.
My better story about Metzger is because I've done shows with him. Is he forgets what's going on?
No, I don't believe it.
Yeah, like he'll like we're doing a flip train, me, Sayers, and Metzger. He somehow is in third gear instead of second, and he passes you on the down part of the rolling ramp. Or he's in second and he comes up short, and you have to aim like in Supercross. You got to not follow, because with Metzger in front of you,
you always got to not follow.
Ask him on the downside of the landing because he cased it.
Okay, again, so Homan, so speaking of coming up short, I have a couple quick stories to talk about. There was a guy right next to me.
Like, coming up short.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
He ruined one of your fucking landing ramps, I believe. And also Mike Jones, I believe.
Trying to ride a 50.
I think Mike Jones did the same thing on that landing ramp.
Mike Jones got a little closer to the spot.
That landing ramp took a punishment. You've had some old landing, like you were one of the OGs to have like a travel mobile.
Right.
I used to have to put that thing up, and I hate the original, like that thing. I don't know if you still have it. If it's on, I think it's on your property still. Maybe that thing was a pain in the ass to set up.
Yeah.
Well, the new one's way better.
The one I rode this weekend is still old as hell, and
I was gonna say you got the same one probably that I came up short on.
Yeah, I still got. That's why I'll keep it, because it's got dent marks from like famous Supercross kids and like who's that? McClintock.
McClintock.
That's your boy. That's your buddy.
McClintock.
Yep.
Yeah. He's not my buddy. He's
not my buddy.
Shocking.
He was gonna front flip it and do whatever, and he didn't do shit. So
he didn't do shit. He did a wicked burnout on a Harley that night.
Yes, he
did. That's all I remember.
Yes, he did. In riding gear.
Jones hit it and rear tagged the corner and dented the corner.
Yep.
And he still rode through it.
That was a back wheel though. He didn't use his linkage like I did.
No. I got that picture of your bike was gnarly. Like it sheared the frame right off.
Yeah, the back. Yeah, dude, gone.
All I'm saying is Honda. When I took that swing arm in to RMC, and I said, hey.
What'd you say? Hang on. This is on tape. This is going to be... Greg lied to Honda. Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't lie. I didn't lie. I took it in, and I set it on the service desk, and I go, hey, is Pat around? The service manager, and he comes out, and he goes, holy shit, are you okay? And I go, I mean, I'm okay, yeah, I guess. And he goes, what happened? And I just told him, I go, well, I came up a little short on this like 65-foot double.
That's not a lie.
That's not a lie. I didn't lie to him.
That's not a lie.
And there was a 75, 80 foot double that he came up at 65.
And it was metal.
Right.
And there was no balloon or
I didn't tell him
airbag.
I didn't say dirt or metal or anything. I just said I came up a little short on this. Maybe I said 70 foot. I don't know, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
I said I came up short on a double, and the guy goes, oh shit, like, hang out a minute. And he took some pictures of it, and he took it in the back. And I'm like, can I have it back? Like, I need to like have it until whatever's happening.
Honda needs this.
I had a brand new hand welded swing arm from Japan in 3 days.
Nice.
Dude, Honda
look at you.
Honda freaked
That's
out.
some crater pull.
I had
they're like, it's Greg Crater, bro.
They're like, recall.
Yeah,
recall.
because they x-rayed it. He one day shipped it to Japan. They x-rayed the swing arm, and it wasn't welded deep enough or something, so they freaked out.
Oh, no.
And like hand welded one to make sure it was good.
You got a factory swing arm?
I got a factory swing arm on that bike when I was done with it, yeah.
I love it.
And Honda
got reinstated.
Yeah, like Honda emailed me and was like, is the rider okay? Like, we need to make sure this is all taken care of. I wish I'd said no. He herniated a disc in his back. It's never going to be fixed. Fucking pay him for that.
God damn it.
That would have been better.
Homan, I got two other stories I want to...
I'm going to make it easy $700-800. Right? And it's like, but Homan, my bike's so much faster than yours, I got to go slower than you.
I didn't know. Man, I should have. Honestly, though,
he told me today. He's like, I shouldn't have followed Homan off.
I should have never tried to follow you. That was the mistake. I should have just jumped it myself.
Because he's a professional.
I could have timed it fine if I just tested it.
That's why when I go to arena cross, I land in the corner, and you guys like haul ass and push down.
Right.
I'm a pogo stick. You guys are a push down scrub.
Yeah.
The worst part, honestly, about that whole deal, maybe it was like my saving grace. The lighting, like, because the sun was behind us, kind of funny, and so it was all shadowy. But I never felt like I was gonna come up
that short.
Like, I thought I was going to land on the deck and bounce off.
That was short.
So,
bro.
like, I just front wheel high, like, oh, I'm a little short, no big deal.
Nope.
And then it was like, but I still.
Man, you could land in the dirt and you'd be better, but.
Oh, way better off.
Wally, for me, is
we'll post pictures of that, too. We will post pictures of that swing arm.
He followed me. I saw the shadow of him and heard it, and I landed and went, bah! Because I'm like, I'm getting landed on or something. I saw it, and then when I turned around, his ass end of his bike's on the left, the right side of his bike's on the right, and he's standing in the middle. Somehow he didn't go back; he went forward.
Yeah, and like at the moment of time, it was like I just did a baseball slide down this corrugated steel
metal.
metal ramp.
It's like rhino.
Good.
It's a rhino line.
Yeah, but it tore up hurt my ass and like my elbow a little bit, and it was like, oh, that's fucked. But like, it didn't occur. Like, I had no idea how bad it was during the situation. And then when you look at my bike, it's like the back tire is like tucked up to the fender, but outside of the number plate. Like, how does that? Where is that? It's all still looks to get kind of together, but.
That picture, the ramp would have been good, but it was two pieces of bike, the ass end of it and the front end of it, in two separate.
I wish I had a picture of the Bobcat scooping it up, like, and just because they Bobcatted it out to the truck, like we didn't know what to do with it. Like it ain't gonna roll.
Nobody
out.
can pick it up, like it's heavy. We can't.
Yeah. They put it in the bucket and drove it out like it was a lame horse at the rodeo.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have a couple more quick ones I want to talk about. We were in Paso Robles. So I don't know what year it was, but there was a monster truck that like smoked your takeoff ramp. Do you remember this story? And then there's some hillbillies that are like, we can weld it back together. You're like, there's actually geometry that goes into this. Like, I don't know if you guys understand. There's just a monster truck that smashed into my takeoff ramp.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had like 6 of those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, yes, right. That happens.
Yeah.
It almost happened this weekend. I got 3 people go, did you see the monster truck hit your ramp? I go, did it? And even the guy driving it, he comes up to me later and goes, dude, did I hit your ramp? I'm like, I don't know. Did you? How do you not know if you hit my ramp?
Yeah. This broke
Why
it pretty bad.
Me?
Yeah, exactly.
I was up selling militia t-shirts with my kid. I just heard about it. Did you hit it or not? I don't know.
Yeah. You're the driver. Shouldn't you know? Did you hit something or not? Yeah. Okay, how about there were 2 different eras, but there was one in Redmond, Oregon, and one in Washington, like Cedar Woolley, Washington, but you were jumping over MMA fighting cages. One was in a stripper parking lot.
A stripper?
Yeah, I think it was in Redmond, Oregon at Stars, maybe Cabaret, and an MMA cage, and you jumped over it.
True.
Do you remember these stories?
Yeah,
these are wild days. Do you know some of those MMA fighters actually?
What's wild about it is they had a keg, 2 kegs filled of ice in a horse trough, and it was leaking across our runway. So like 4 feet of our runway was wet.
On concrete, I assume.
And yeah, it was like a super kicker only, because that's all we had room. Run in and run out. The run out. That's where you got made fun of because we called you sister. That guy wanted to beat you up. We had the run out was 35 feet to a curb that then dropped down into an underpass that was Highway 97. So if we would have duped it, we would have seat bounced off the curb and been into oncoming traffic below.
I wasn't jumping it.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, JT Taylor's like, are they calling you the sister? Do you want me to beat him up for you? No, that's my name. No, your name's the sister?
Yeah, sister.
Like, well, I think you made him so mad, that's why he won his fight that night, because some dude's name is the sister.
Yeah, that happens.
Well, that's where Olaf Anderson met the dude named Olaf that broke like that. What was that black dude's name that was crazy?
Crazy Horse. That's the guy.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's he's gone on to a pretty successful MMA career. Like and there was other dudes there that night that were actually in UFC. Like,
yeah.
There was, there was some legit dudes in that. I remember just sitting on top of the landing ramp because it was like butted up to the cage, and we would sit up there and watch the MMA fights. And I mean, it was the closest.
John Gunderson.
Yeah.
Right. John Gunderson.
Gunderson, yeah, and I think there was another one too. I think there was a like a 145-pound guy or something, but he was actually a big dude in the UFC, like a pretty successful. Yeah,
there was
crazy times.
MMA got big.
For sure.
He was even almost existing.
But it was an FMX show over an MMA cage in a strip club parking lot, like.
Yeah. And I'm like the local like leading
hero.
Title.
Yes. Yeah, true. You still had a regular.
Were you the manager of the office at this point?
I was the general manager at that point. Yeah.
And that's a legit, it's a big money job. Yeah,
corporate money.
Suit and tie. It was suit and tie deal.
But he can't take a CBD deal.
Yeah, we're in his hometown doing fucking shows in a strip club parking lot.
Somehow I always up front talked to my president and said, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what's going on, and
as you should. I mean, got to check it out.
Well, that's the only reason we got away with it all. It's the only reason I have a track in my backyard, because I talk to my neighbors and say, hey, if I'm being too much, let me know, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember the other one you jumped over a cage up in like Cedar-Woolley, Washington, when that was the one Nate the Rock Corey was there? And
in Washington?
Yeah, that you were talking about it earlier, like when we first got
Alaska.
No, that was in Washington.
Alaska was gnarly because it was 2 a.m. and it was light outside.
I wasn't in Alaska. Yeah. I've never been to Alaska.
It was weird. It was like
I've been a lot of places with you, never Alaska.
Anderson, I think it's where Anderson actually jumped. And it was one of those, like, before Fail's Army existed, somebody drove their Jeep into the stands and ran over half the crowd.
Dude, I saw Garland post some gnarly Jeep exhibition from your show this weekend in Redmond, dude. That was pretty legit.
Man. Tough trucks are good.
Yeah, tough trucks.
Where's your Ford Explorer? Where's you doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that, because
we went to a party afterwards at some hillbilly's house or something, and they
that was weird.
They loved the sister.
I think I forgot to flip once what I was flipping, and that was scary. I forgot to pull.
I have pictures of it, I guarantee. I
forgot that's what I was doing, but my body did it. But yeah, I do remember that one. It was not very well attended. It was hokey pokey, but
yeah. But Nate the Rock Corey, which is a pretty big MMA name, he was there, and he went to that the after party with us. We went to some like locals. So for some reason we decided just to go to like a random local party, and we went to this weird place.
That sounds like Sister's MO most days of the week.
Yeah, he was at home. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, this is what he does every night. So
no, I got pictures of this shit. This happened.
I forgot about that one, but now I remember it.
Yeah, 100% it happened. I'm sure.
We did that in Pasco too. There was an indoor MMA thing that we did too. That was jump over a cage.
Yeah.
It was hard, man. I've done so many shows. It's not disrespectful. It's just like I've done so many. All runs into the same. Yeah, it's cool though to have all these flashbacks because I forgot about that stuff.
Dude, there's so many. You've had such a long, crazy career.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's impressive, and I mean, it's Chad Reed-esque.
Let's talk real quick though. So obviously you can't do all the shows you get calls for.
I had to quit.
Right. No, I know. So one time you had to have eye surgery or something.
Yeah, I did. I've had LASIK twice.
You had to have something like. You called me.
I do remember the story a little bit.
You want to go to Uganda?
Oh,
because you had to have some surgery on your eye.
Oh dear.
And you couldn't go.
I do remember this.
So you sent me over there.
Oh dear.
By yourself?
Yeah, solo. No Justin Homan.
Oh shit!
Just a young crater.
So
I did Uganda one year, but they must have the callback.
So this was the second one. Yeah, this was going
back to back.
So I took my wife. It wasn't my wife at the time, and you called me 2 weeks before the show. You go, hey man, you want to go? And I said, yeah, I'll go. That's kind of cool. Thinking you're going.
Yeah, it's always awesome. Cool, exotic place and a pretty damn good, decent paycheck. And then you get there, and then what?
Right. That's it.
Then?
So you say you want to go. It's 2 weeks away, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Let me see. But I got to go get all the shots and shit before I can go to Uganda. It's like 7 or 8 shots or something they make you get. But normally it's like over like multiple months.
You're like, I got to get them in 2 weeks.
I got to get them like all at one time. Like so
I gotta kill my liver now.
And AIDS and everything.
Yeah, so I got night sweats for a week trying to fight off whatever the fuck they injected me with, trying to go over there.
Thanks, Homan.
So then I'm like, all right, I guess I survived that. So then we go.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
How much worse could it be?
Well,
so I get there, and it's all good at first, and we go out, and I'm looking at the setup, and it looks okay. And then...
So they had a decent ramp there.
You had a decent ramp, but what they did was they had this big bulldozer that broke down, apparently.
Of course.
Sure, it's always broke.
So they couldn't do anything extra.
AKA doesn't have gas, like diesel.
Dude, this thing was old. Like, oh my God.
This is my shocked face.
So I get there, and it's like an 03 CR250 or something. And I don't bring suspension. I don't have suspension for it. You'd had suspension for it the year before, so I'm riding whatever's on it. Yeah. And we set the ramp, and they're like, "Well, what do you want to set it at?" And like, I talked to you, and I'm like, 65 feet, sure, let's set it there.
25 feet.
Yeah, would have been a better idea, right?
Fuck. So can we set it at 10?
Well, the ramp's
really. You can't even do tricks, and the ramp's not built for 25. It's,
right. So I just set it at 65. I mean, I could have tested it and moved it, but I didn't. So 65 feet. I'm like, I'll
not
be okay
to die.
There. So. The run-in is like at an angle. So they set the ramp and it's like at an angle.
I've been to shows with Homan that they're, you have to put shit under one side.
I'm like,
find a 2x4.
This is no good. Like, can we dig that side out or like jam some stuff under the other side? So they lift it up and like literally kick rocks under it. Like wedge some little rocks under the thing, and I'm like, good enough, whatever, right? Perfect. So I jump off the side a couple times, and one of the times I'm like 2/3 of the way up the ramp, jumping half the distance, right? I land on the side, carburetor falls out. So I'm like, now I got to look at the whole bike. So I check every bolt, I check it out, I'm happy with it. I go, okay, let's try again.
I don't know if happy's the word.
Well, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's soft. It's going to be an issue.
It's not a
no
Mitch
what.
Payton fucking.
It's not perfect. But so I jump it, and fortunately, it's like tits perfect. I land where I want to be. But I put so much time into the bike and into the ramp setup that I never looked at the landing that closely. So it was so soft that like the front wheel just stuck and I
dove. Like
it was just sandy and like not packed and not wet.
I remember you calling me going, dude, I went over the bars or something.
Yeah, so he yells at some guys and like dudes literally like come out of the bushes. Barefoot dudes run out of the bushes and he
labor is aplenty, but there's nothing else that works well.
Nothing there.
Yeah, but they're barefoot.
They're barefoot with like weird
African barefoot men just stomping on the landing.
Well, no, so I go, dude, you gotta water it, and then like they had trucks, so I'm like, truck pack it, get some water on it, truck pack it. So they literally grab 5-gallon buckets and run like 200 yards down the hill to a stream, get 5 gallons of water, run back up, dump it on. They did it for an hour, and they packed it with a truck after, and like it was the like scariest thing I ever did.
How much water does it take to pack a landing?
Well, so. That's like
how many 5-gallon like I don't know.
Dude,
I wouldn't think it would be that many, but how many?
An hour later, they're still doing it.
Jesus!
But it's 200 yards, dude, carrying 5 gallons of water back up a hill.
Well, they'll do that all day, but getting the equipment to run won't run.
Right. So we get it good enough, and it's okay. And then I did it, and It was okay. I survived it, I guess. But
You're alive
that's
now.
where like the Jamaica thing, going to the hospital, like we drove by some hospitals and it was like, I'm not going there. I don't like. It's gonna have to be so severe that I can't not go.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah. I want to get back to the States as quick as
telling
possible.
you, and they're telling you not to drink the water and shit. And so it's like, should I wash a wound with the water? Is that okay? Like, can I get this wet in the shower?
Yeah.
Because I gotta I endoed. I had some wounds, but. So,
if you want to get malaria, go for it.
Right. I had the shot for their pills or something for that. They give you weird dreams. The malaria pills give you weird dreams. So it's kind of weird, but.
I think we've been on for about 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Oh, Manzi.
But,
do you have anything you want to talk about or plug, or
anything in particular you'd like to have a shot at saying?
you want to?
No, I mean,
Any of your sponsors?
No, I mean like any
stories?
last minute stories, like something that you'd like to talk about for sure. Something that stands out that you'd like to talk about?
it's the same stuff that keeps happening. It's interesting, and I want our motocross sport
so now let's talk about that real quick. Now you're racing every weekend, or a lot of weekends. You're at Pac West. Your kids are racing, or your son's racing. I don't know if Boo's racing or not, but
Yeah.
Brian's racing, I'm racing, and I'm doing freestyle. It's just like as I said, I tried to quit, and I really did. It's funny. I retired because you're scared, and you're still alive, so you retire. You kind of want to retire, but I really did know 3 wanted to be over it, but then it took off because of the flip. But like, I shouldn't be winning classes. I shouldn't be the fastest. The fastest class on the track shouldn't be the 40 fucking plus class.
Yeah, probably not.
right.
It sounds like a dick, but it's not okay with me. It's like, and I'm not the fastest class, but it's like, but sincerely, for 2.5 years racing, the 40 plus class is harder for me to beat than the 30 plus, and the 25 plus class is easier to beat than the 30 plus.
Right.
And that's just, if you put
I've seen that, though.
together,
The 25 plus class, it was weird because when I was racing 25 plus, it was unreal stacked. I mean, it was myself and Cole Siebler and Ross Johnson and Howell and Abrigo, and like there's 6 or 8 guys that could qualify at Supercross.
And there is promise. Villapoto and Pac West is bringing it back, and what is cool about the opposite of what I just said, there's a lot of dads that are buying a bike for the first time in their 30s and a bike for their teenager for the first time. So there's a lot. It's just the money. I get it. It costs too much money. A kid can't afford it, and I'm seeing a lot of that because I get in arguments with them in practice days while they look back and move over and almost kill us both. They're like, "That's riding 101. What are you doing?" They're like,
Right.
"Well, we didn't grow up. We didn't ride when we
Right.
were 5. We did our first bikes." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Right.
He's 40 and he's 18, and this is your
Right.
first bike.
But that's the problem. Yeah, nobody's there to say, "Hey, hold your line."
Yeah.
No, like
They
dad
just
can't
don't
tell
know
the kid
better.
that.
Yeah. Nobody taught them that.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, they're trying to be safe, but it's going to get people killed. But
Right.
so that's kind of cool to see that demographic, and I've never seen so many dads that I race with now that are also have their kids. So when I grew up racing, there's no dads that raced.
Right.
None. And it's cool to see that many people come back to the sport, and I see them also on the line with their kid because I'm lining up my kid, or they're in the 60 or 80 class. So that's a cool new demographic. The sports, I mean, well, then good problem to have. Too many riders and too many motos.
Right.
Yeah, I raced for 2 years, and I'm like, there's 3 dudes in my class, 2 dudes in my class.
Right.
This is stupid. Like, get rid of the age classes. Let's just go back to ABC. But so that in my criticism, there's also some promise, and there are a handful of ripper kids out there that are really getting after it. And like locally, my kid kills it, but me and my son went back to Mini O's, and I dominated everything here last year. And everybody's like, "You're a sandbagger. You should be pro." I'm like, "Really? Should I be 450A at 46?"
Right.
Like, 30 plus guys want to cry. Do you really want to know my age? You could be my son. And then they shut up, and it's like, go to Mini O's. I got smoked. I got top 5 in Supercross, and they have no ABC. It's just age. And then outdoor, I got like 10, 11, 12.
Right.
but my starts were terrible on borrowed equipment.
Right.
Whatever. Bring them to Washougal might be a different story.
Sure.
But that's the thing of it. I want to look on a national scope. I want to be the best. I don't want to be just great at Redmond Arena Cross. Like, who gives a shit? But because we kill it there, and everybody thinks we're great, and we're not in the scope of the nation and the world now.
Big picture.
It's like Woodland. Oh, the whoops are too hard. Let's take them out. Come on, guys.
Right.
We'll ride them.
Yep.
What happened to that? We used to be the best. Now I want to be the best still.
Right.
And I'm trying too hard because just not. I mean, I ride the 30 plus because it's competition. I really don't want to ride A because I shouldn't be pro at this age.
Yeah. That's asking a lot.
Practice, I could run with them all day long, but at the race, I have a freestyle jumps. I mean, that's what's sad. It's still my money. I need to go make a few grand on the weekend versus paying $300-400 to race. And I quit 2 years ago to be safe for my family, and I hired other kids. They either had shitty attitudes or they crashed and broke them body parts, broke bones, broke parts off.
Right.
They were shows of people I've done for 15 years, and I felt embarrassed.
Right.
So I came back. I go, I'm still riding good. That's my rule. If I'm riding as good or better than I was last year, I'll still do it. If I'm not, I love him. He's an idol. Mike Jones. That's all he had. And it was sad because he's an idol, and he's
right. But that's the problem. He didn't have an education to work. Like, he didn't have another job, man. This is one thing he knows in life.
But even like Reed, I mean, I love Reed's one of my biggest idols too. But it's like
I don't understand his situation right now.
It's hard. It's really hard to be like Dungy and Villapoto and call it when you're on top because no one gets that either.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is hard. I give him props.
Well, I mean, even for me, like, I don't understand how Reed has done what he has done. Because,
it's amazing.
No. Like, battling with guys to make the main event for a guy that was races, that won titles. I personally, I hate showing up to a local race and getting beat by anybody. I couldn't imagine showing up to a Supercross, being him, and being okay with getting 15th and saying it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta put it in perspective. That's what I mean. It's hard to see your idol struggle and get beat by Joe Blow, that's local new pro guy. It's a different mentality, different state of mind. I think I'm there too. I think this weekend, everybody's like, why aren't you racing 450A? Why aren't you racing 30A? I'm like, because to preserve my body and to take care of my...
I gotta go to work on Monday.
It's not being wussy, it's being smart, and that's what's hard.
100%.
Because we're not taught to be smart, especially these days. Send it. I go mountain biking, BMX, moto. The snowboarding, skiing, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
All the kids and dads and parents. That's why I do classes now. I do classes because I go to Arena Cross and see dads telling them to send it, and they don't know what they're doing.
They have no idea. That's the most frustrating part to me as a pro rider, was watching dads tell their kids to do shit, and the dads have never ridden. The dads don't understand it. It's like they don't understand the pain that comes with hitting the ground.
Yeah, sending it.
And that's the problem. Like, to me, like, bro, you put your helmet on and you go cartwheel off of that thing and bend your neck backward and feel what it, like, understand that pain, and then tell your kid to go do it, because that's the hardest thing for me. I got a 4-year-old that's never ridden a motorcycle. I don't want to see him slap the ground running around the house. Yeah. Like, I know it hurts. You know what I mean?
Well, they do. They go to Arena Cross and they're sitting down up an 8-foot drop, and they auger their head into the ground because they're not taught to stand up. They're taught to throttle.
They have no idea.
Your kid to stand up. So that's what's hard. But it's cool with my classes is, and I get scared. So I'm like, why am I doing this? You got a CRF 150. Give me your bike and I'll go do it. Right. None of their dads don't say nothing. Those dads that won't shut up, they're sitting there just watching.
Like,
they can't do the jump on anything, let alone jump on their kid's bike.
Right.
And then half the time I'm like, whoa, this bike doesn't have a clutch, doesn't have a brake. The rear brake way out of line. Here, go adjust your bike.
Real quick on that note, how do if somebody wants to get a hold of you to do a class, how do they find you?
The best way is just go to Instagram, Facebook, Justin Homan, and direct message me. I'll get in touch with you. It's really taken off this year. Didn't mean to, just did a good product and tried this year, and and all my kids raced. They all did well. They passed everybody in the whoops. They did better than expected. Lots of them won. It was just cool to see, and we're safe. That's my main thing. Let's learn how to be safe, minimize risk, and use your tools, your bike, your body, your mind, and all these components that you don't use. And you don't learn it in a month or 2 months, but
front brake, clutch, weird
but,
things.
Yeah. So the other thing about your schools, you have your own facility right there. You have an arena cross track at the house with lights if you want to use them, if you want to do a nighttime thing.
In the Redmond, Oregon area?
Redmond, Oregon area.
Yeah. So we got lights. We do arena cross track. Arena cross track has blow-by lanes, so you don't have to hit any jumps, but it's a progression. I have a supercross track. I have a freestyle setup. I'm 95% done deal on buying an airbag. So BMX, mountain bike, pit bike, big bike, freestyle to airbag safe. I've been asked for it for 20 years. Will you teach me how to freestyle? I always said no because people will die.
Dude, speaking of, we probably.
He's one of them.
No, we have another. It might be another time.
If I guaranteed you to come down for a week and I'd get you to flip, how much would you pay for that?
Right.
Yeah.
I had a guy. I can remember being in California with a buddy.
No.
And he was dying to find a foam pit, and we couldn't find him one that somebody would let him jump into because
Homan.
Obviously logistics and
I have an email
issues and things. So.
I have an email from a long time ago. A dude sent you, like, some guy that was like, "Hey, bro, I want to come to your house," and like, yeah.
Yes, he saved the email.
Yeah, I am a hoarder a little bit.
No, I'm the guy that's like, yeah, I wish we were in Europe. Come, like, bring your talk and let's go. And they always just, the people that they come to my show and they go, well, here's pictures of me on Facebook doing the same trick. You should hire me. And I'm like, well, come to my house and ride. That's the number one story. They come to my house and ride. They can't do one double on my supercross track, but they want to flip a ramp
or stop for the turn.
Yeah.
They don't use the front brake, and then I go, well, all right, go ahead and hit the. Maybe you don't know how to ride a track, but maybe you're good at ramps. You send me a bunch of pictures that I seen, and they're like, well, how far is that? And I'm like, normal, standard. And they're like, oh, well, our ramp's only at 35 feet.
That's like not standard.
That's not
those
standard.
tricks off 35 feet. I'm like, that's gnarly. I can't do that, but that's. And that my attorney's even going, your ramp's got to be standard, your distance has got to be standard. And I go, what's standard? It's X Games, because otherwise I'm liable.
Yeah.
Right.
And they won't even hit it. So these guys that are
it's better to look sick than be sick.
Yeah, you know the phrase.
See,
like,
you taught me.
It's all about looking sick versus being sick.
Yeah, that's it. You got to look good, not be good.
But I love it. That's why I love motocross. Is come on out and prove it. And they 99% of the time, I've never had one dude show up that's ever impressed me. I've had one dude that showed up and actually held their own.
Yeah.
I came down there once.
Was his name Greg Crater? Yeah. Was his name Greg Crater?
Supercross guys, they're freaked out because they're same thing as Crater said. You're going so slow. Abrigo and Crater and Hal never hit the ramp. They come out and they're just like, that's scary to me. I don't want to do that.
I will say, like, I've been to your house a number of times. I never hit the ramp at your house.
Oh, Jesus.
Because we do. You guys are hauling ass and scrubbing the shit out of everything, which is why I watch Arena Cross and go, dude, if I go that fast, I'm going to land in the corner. And I'm scared. And Rodrigo and all you guys are like, you guys are going so damn slow, like, because we pogo and you guys push through. So
right. No, that's one thing though. Like you did a late night session one time while I was there. I think I was already done riding or something. But otherwise, it's like you're not really. You've hardly ridden when I was there normally, but yeah. So let's go. Let's try to wrap this up a little bit. We got some so major accomplishments in your career here. You said X Games. You've been to 12 X Games or something, and had some medals. And what else? What else do you consider major accomplishments over the last 23
I don't know
years?
all of it. I quit riding. I never thought I'd own a dirt bike again in my life.
You're talking 1990.
Yeah, from quitting college and then coming back and racing amateur. It's just all fun. It's stuff that I don't know what it was. I almost blame it on my brother scaring me when I was a kid. Because now I'm like, whatever you say, I can't do.
Billy
I will.
Racing?
All the way back. Billy Homan. Shout out to Billy Homan.
I wasn't smart enough to get into college, and so that pissed me off. When I'm told you can't do that jump or you can never be successful at motocross, there's something about don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
I'll find motivation to go do hard work and get there. So I don't know, it's just I'm happy I'm walking, even though I'm injured. I'm grateful that I can walk up and down the stairs every day, run after my kids, ski. Every day I got to go do stuff because this sport's taught me to not take anything for granted. And racing again is awesome with kids. And I don't know, I mean, all that other stuff, I didn't have a goal to get sponsored. I didn't have a goal to go to X Games. And so many of us are now today taught that, social media, that's looking sick versus doing it because you love it or because you have a passion for it. It just accident. I took a shovel on my BMX bike into the woods by myself and met friends and got good at something. That's pretty much the sum of it. Same thing with moto. My dad, luckily, scared the shit out of me and told me to go drive a cat. Met friends, I got crazy. Like, I didn't know how to build a ramp, but I just went and built a ramp.
Right.
It wasn't a good one. I had to adjust it, and I built a landing ramp that was terrible too. But being ahead of the game and wanting it that bad, and having, I don't know, my schooling, accounting, finance is a piece of who I am big time because I'm calculated. I'm not crazy. I'm calculated.
Right.
People don't get that. They see my show, and I'm like, no, I worked my ass off for 4 months just to get to this point.
And you make good money doing, both. You have, yeah.
Well, most people, because you make good money at the one, why would you do the other?
Right.
But, why not do both, right?
There's a lot of why not, because you've been injured and paralyzed and might die.
That's why you keep the one that pays even when you're hurt.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
When 2 or 3 teammates are dead,
yep.
And
Yep.
3 or 4 others are paralyzed, there's a lot of reasons right in front of your face. There's a lot of days when I turn on certain anniversaries and certain days, I'm thinking of McNeil, I'm thinking of Ox, I'm thinking of Lusk. As I'm going down the runway to turn and go to the ramp, and I have to switch right there from don't be scared, do fucking ride is good or ride, make them proud. I have to switch that switch right then and there. Yeah. Do one as good as they would do. Do one they'd be proud of, don't puss out. Because if you got the mental game, and I'm told I don't have emotion, I'm told I'm calm, I'm very low straight line demeanor, I'm better lately, but I know that's true about me because I've had to condition my mind to not jump off, not get scared, to ride it out. I've conditioned my brain to,
no matter what it is, just
it is. Yeah, well, I realize now, I didn't probably for 15 years that in my everyday life, when someone gave me a bike, like, why aren't you excited? I go, I'm super excited. You're not showing it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm overly appreciative.
Right.
I don't have that emotion, because you can't have emotion, because you will jump off or die or abort mission when you shouldn't. Yep. And somehow I've done that plenty. I'm like, I'm dead. I saw 4 different scenarios, and then I land, and I somehow rode out of it.
Survive it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's kind of hard because that's some of the negative stuff.
Right.
But it's just it's an awesome career. I love. From a kid, that's the story. It was from a kid that would cry if you ever started a bike.
Yep.
For 4 years, I hated them. I wouldn't do it.
Now it goes full tilt to
right.
Your job.
No fear. I have no pain and have no fear, which is all a lie too.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time I ride, I tell my son, if you're not scared, you need to go park it. I'm scared every time I ride.
Right.
Yep. Block it out though, and just get it done.
Yep. Practice and get it done. I'm not blocking
nothing out.
Practice
makes perfect.
Yeah, it helps. It helps to prepare.
It makes you,
sure.
Mentally it helps a ton. Makes you feel good about what you're doing and know that you can come through whatever it is.
Well, my students and me, I tell myself when I'm scared and things don't look right, I go, do what you do it, ride like you're at home. Imagine you're at home. That's what I did at X Games. I imagined it was a foam pit. And I tell myself every race, do what you know.
In the lumberyard.
Right? Yeah, do what you know and act like you're at home, and that don't let all these crowd and girlfriends and enemies and people influence you, because that's when you get hurt.
Yep.
So
Crew Jones in the lumberyard is a perfect.
I'm just saying that's pretend
that's
you're in the lumberyard.
Yep, you're in the lumberyard.
So real quick, Jeff has a note on this pad, something about bull riding stories.
Yeah, that was just I didn't. So I remember going to shows that we've done, and I don't know if it was Eugene or. Somehow someone thought it would be a good idea to because it was a bull riding event / FMX event, and
I've
so
been to one of those.
they do bull riding and stuff, and so we had to move everything out in the halftime or whatever.
That's where I ripped my swing arm off.
So and Homan's he's riding, so he's on it. So I'm the guy that has to jump into. So we park the truck and the trailer in the arena with the bulls. So there's 30 bulls.
How many bulls did you kill with the truck and trailer?
I had to jump in this. I'd over the fence and walk from there to the truck.
In the bulls?
Yes.
Oh, they aren't gonna mess you. They don't got nothing tied around their groin, dude.
Okay. Yeah, and hang
on.
Color red Ford truck, or what's my favorite color Ford truck?
Red. Right. Yeah. So Crater. So why didn't you go up and pet the fucking buffalo in Montana?
Oh, because I watched it try to kill a guy.
Okay, well, bulls kill people every day, so I was not. I mean,
I'm just saying
it was a sketchy. Jeffrey, it was a sketchy place.
Stop being a bitch.
I was. Yeah, I am. It was. I wasn't happy to. I wasn't happy to do that.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Homan actually rode a bull.
No, I don't think so. Have you ridden a bull? You've been a lot of bull.
Every year, Cowboys want to get. They're always like, let's see you do what we do. I'm like, I'll trade your job. And they're like, hell no.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Exactly. I remember Homan offering that to a lot of.
Yeah.
A couple of the costly ones, which are always the subpar ones. I'm like, I bet you I'll live, but if you literally commit and jump in that ramp, you're dead.
Yeah, I'll be better at what you're doing than you're going to be at what I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
For sure. All right.
On that note,
I mean, you've traveled a ton of places.
Oh, hey,
what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to? Coolest, whatever, something where you'd go back to.
That's hard.
You've been a lot of places.
Right.
I mean, for 100%.
But that's what's cool is all the places what I was told they'd be like were nothing like that. I thought they'd be like. Ethiopia was rad.
You've been to Dubai, right? Or where was the?
Yeah, I don't really want to go back to Dubai.
No.
No.
You've been to Asia?
Asia was.
You didn't you do an Asia X Games one time?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did good there. Yeah, I just I haven't been to a whole lot of Europe. I've been to Italy and Australia. I'm dying to go to.
Italy wasn't. You didn't do a show or anything there, right? You just went there for a vacation.
Some dude named Greg Crater hooked me up with the UFO and got me all hooked up with a bike UP course, and me and my Billy Racing.
Yeah.
My brother ripped. That was awesome. I need more Europe. I've been to every.
I've heard terrible things.
That you most likely wouldn't want to go back to. So I don't know. I mean,
Australia is a still place you want to go.
Not much I'd want to go back to. I almost want to say states, the places in the states.
So let's do a place you'd never want to go back to then. Of all the places you travel, what's the worst place?
It's kind of mean, but Butte, Montana.
we did a show there. We did the Evil Knievel days.
Years ago, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's going to kill me.
I feel like I've been there a few times with you. At least twice.
Maybe. Haiti after its third time, I'm over.
Was that when I was there? Was that the last time you went?
Yeah, Derek and me did it one time after you.
Oh, right, Derek. Love that guy.
That was the worst landing ramp I've ever seen in my life, period. Of any motocross track, freestyle, any the boulders.
Yeah, the dirt it was like a pile of baseballs.
A pile of what?
A pile of baseballs. Yeah, it was. Jesus. It was so bad. You were
like, good description.
But see, that's the thing. Haiti was after I went to Uganda, and so I just dealt with whatever they showed up with because I thought that was the deal. Homan shows up in Haiti, and he's like, "No, we're not riding that. You need to go get some dirt, bring something in here and fix this."
Yeah.
I didn't know I could do that, so I was just like, I
didn't know I had those powers.
This is what we're doing. Okay, I'll make do, I guess.
they think it's good. And I'm like, no, you go find your brothers and your friends and get the local church plus.
Well, we have to
Yeah.
They'll get the wheelbarrows out and they'll go find.
Well, they had like a track or they had like a loader, a little front loader thing or something.
It's called a wheelbarrow.
No, they had a piece of equipment, dude, because they were getting big like buckets full to put on there, like. But they were like driving down the road.
We made them go get soil because it was a pile of baseballs.
It was literally just a pile of boulders, dude. Like it was. If you watered it, it would have just been shiny rocks.
Yeah, so I made them go find soil, but the worst part, the other part is terrible.
They made a rock landing?
Yeah.
It's so bad, dude. It was gravel, like boulders.
Just a rock landing.
Yeah, 13 feet, it was 8 feet of baseballs. And the other part, the ramp was good because I've ridden it before. They decided to paint it the night before with syrup.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Why? It was like molasses.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Weird, like,
Why wouldn't you?
Right?
I mean,
You had to scrape it with a shovel and throw dirt on it for a half an hour and like pull it off. So yeah, it was that's the stuff. I'm like, I was telling Crater, I go, we've been doing this because I've been riding for those guys for 5 or 6 years. I'm like, you guys keep creating new ways to fuck up shows. You invent new ways that I've never seen before to like screw up the situation.
Yeah. No, that was an eye opener for me though, because like I say, I went to Uganda before that. I didn't know I could bitch about the situation. I thought I'm in a third world country. I just got to deal with whatever it is, and that's good enough. That's as good as you get.
You gotta get them. They'll do it, but the timeliness of it's terrible.
Right. Well, that was the thing, because we didn't practice till like the morning of the show, because the day before you made them fix all the ramps and stuff, or the landing ramp, so we didn't ride that day.
Yeah, well, right. Imagine if I had an airbag in every one of those. How much more safe that would be.
Right.
God, yeah.
Right. I'm just thinking this one instance where you said, "Hey, do you want me to put up the airbag for practice?" And I said, "No, I don't think that we need that. Don't worry about it. I'm totally good enough to not need an airbag.
I'll follow you off."
And then I went ahead and ripped the swing arm off the bike.
I'm gonna follow you. Go
With
ahead.
the airbag, I mean, the airbag's not going to prevent that. Though.
You'd have popped that thing, and Homan would have been pissed. Homan would have killed you.
He'd have been out $2,500 for an airbag.
Homan would have shot you in the parking lot.
I know. I've never ridden one yet. I'm kind of scared. I've seen some guys.
No, he's talking about the airbag.
Yeah, I'm
like
talking about the safety bag.
The safety bag. Not the yeah. How much are the airbag? You're gonna buy an airbag thing, like a legit? Those are
the wedge.
Yeah.
What
is it is it like a resin under the what is it? Is it like a 4-inch cushion and that? But
it's a whole
it's
airbag.
all air.
It all collapses.
I feel like there's like a 6-inch cushion or something, and then it goes to kind of hard.
It's got a wedge, which is a bounce house. And then on top of it, there's another layer. There's 2 or 3 chambers that have different psi.
Okay.
So the main core of it, the wedge, is stout.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
You change the psi. That's why these dudes at X Games do what they do. Is they've been practicing on airbag for 8 months.
Yeah.
And they got it watered.
Yeah.
And they can let the main bag down a little bit, so even if they do plan on crashing, it's a little less like dramatic or
right.
Well, they can make it softer, but when you get your tricks wired, you want it stouter so you can roll out.
So you can ride out of it.
But when you're practicing the first couple times, I mean, have a little looser. It's
and
nice
I can
to
only
be able to
imagine
adjust
like
pressure.
Like I've only been in an airbag or a foam pit a couple of times, and I can only imagine the amount of energy you save by having an airbag.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, the dudes that are hurting, they say after a weekend of shows they don't hurt.
Right.
Ankles and backs and stuff. That's on the bodies less, but I've seen some dudes get sacked. They got too much of a bounce.
Oh yeah.
The Chinese and the Mexican airbags, they're just knockoffs, and dudes
they blow up probably.
And they catapulted out to the flat and got 86.
Got weeded, yeah.
What do those go for? The airbags?
The cheap ones are like 10, and the good ones are 40 grand. Yeah, so that's a tough one.
What did a foam pit cost? You know what I mean?
Well,
a good one.
I mean,
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the foam was expensive. Period. Even if you had access to get a foam pit.
Yeah, copy foam. Mine was 10 grand, and I had the crappy knockoff.
Right.
Yeah, you had hookups. Like I remember, I used to send you foam sometimes from. I got it from a company. I'd send you a couple bales, like down to, but it was just like junk, scrap foam. I mean,
Oh, and it's just messy and it hurts.
Yeah.
Even though you don't break,
it's not
you
like
don't
the
break
blocks
it hurt.
that like had
Right,
Nate
these guys
Adams
had
had or
perfect.
anything with like.
But even that, I'm just saying,
Target.
like,
Yeah.
you go into one of those deep, and it's a struggle to get out. It's scary if you're buried in them. Gas is pouring on you upside down.
Yeah.
If you, like,
It's hot.
it's hot. They catch on fire.
Yeah.
Like, it's foam pits were sketchy too.
In the sun, the foam dries out. It gets hard. It's
It's in your mouth. It's in your eyes.
Yeah,
it's gross.
floating around.
Yeah,
You're
it's
breathing
there's
it.
fucking
There's
snakes.
like 2 or 3 dudes
Dude,
before
literally, yeah.
it caught on fire and burned. One kid died, and
Right.
the other it burnt a bike, and the only thing left was the countershaft sprocket because it got so hot. It's petroleum.
You're right. No,
Yeah.
it's ugly stuff if it goes up.
Yeah.
So
Brutal,
Yeah,
on that note,
brutal shit. Yeah. On a good death story. Let's
that
end
note.
this fucking thing.
all right. Well, cool, man. Thank you for talking
Do you
to
want
us.
to? Do you want to tell?
You
Talk
got-
about any sponsors
Yeah, you
or
need
any
to
people
tell
that
anything,
help you
yeah.
out? Fly, militia.
To everybody. I mean, these days I'm doing some shows that are cool locally that they're fundraisers. It was me giving back, and mostly it's
said-
people that couldn't afford me. And then I said, "Well, how are you sponsoring it?" I was writing you a check. I'm like, "Well, let me help you get sponsors." So it was kind of cool. We did a show 2 years ago, put 10 grand towards BMX pump track, and then last year we bought a canine for the local police department, and I have 2 or 3 of those. So that's cool. But overall, it's just locally people that help me weld ramps, people that used to come out. And while I had a whoop section dirt runway back when ramps were new, and a guy would come out and rake it every time so that I could try to have a consistent takeoff, or just friends that would help me build ramps and give me equipment to build my tracks. Because I had nothing. My first year of Supercross, I didn't even have my track yet. I was straight off of like Washougal and Mountain View. So that's mostly who I thank. Recently, Militia's been cool forever. Family type scenario. Fly racing's been awesome. Standing behind me and been there in local shops, whether it's Cascade Motorsports back in the day or Pro Caliber today. All my sponsorships have been long term. I haven't ever jumped ship, or I probably should have. I would have made more money. It's just not my style.
Yep.
But all my relationships have been long lasting, and it's just crazy at this age. I got more companies. They want to do vlogs. They want to do CPD sponsorships. They want to do bike sponsorships, and they really like Deegan and his son. They like Byron and me. Like, it's weird what they say is a value. Like if I post a picture of me and my son, doubles whatever I would post, no matter how cool the trick. So it's kind of evolving, and it's always been a family sport, but it's kind of on another level now with being able to race with your kids that I didn't see before. So. And the economy's better, so
100%.
And that's helping the sport. And Villapoto and people trying to bring it back. They're trying to build a better program, and it's working. So.
And yourself,
What's up?
I said, and yourself is helping. I'm sure you're helping. You're racing every weekend with your kids, and you're teaching a bunch of kids. I mean, Villapoto's doing the same thing, but yourself is. You got your MX-13 going on?
Yeah, it's all positive. It's good. I'm healthy. Riding better than I've ever ridden, really, with like whoops and Supercross. But it's always a struggle because.
Think you could beat Crater? I bet you could. Hang on.
If it was more than 2 laps, I guarantee it.
Yeah, we should get a little sideways.
Maybe only 1 lap.
We may have to bring this down to Homan's house at some point and put a little, like a 5 lap. Hang on, time out. I got something going here.
5 laps is too many.
It's so hard to give respect at that pro level. There's 10 different levels within the pros.
Oh,
right. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I can do the jumps. I can go that fast. I don't corner great, but in practice I can hang with them. But when you get into race mode or even Supercross, those dudes are so many different levels, which is cool. But I don't know. I always don't think I'm that great, but I'm hanging in there and having fun. And I had to say, all right, just be happy and enjoy it.
Yeah, you're 46 years old and still there doing it, man. That's That's
Something
huge.
to be said.
That's a massive accomplishment,
Yeah.
really.
You know, yeah, but then I'm like flipping dirt bikes on the weekend, just going for it. But
Making money.
the same thing I train, the same thing I teach my kids, I have to do it myself then.
Right.
So keeps me safe.
Yep.
Safer.
Well, cool. Thank you for talking to us. Again,
Yeah.
real quick, if you guys find Justin Homan on Facebook or Instagram, inbox message him if you're interested in the schools.
Give him a follow.
Yeah, give him a follow, see what he's doing, see what his kids are doing. He's at the local tracks racing. He's
I think
doing
it's
shows still.
mx13.com. Is your
That my website's I'm getting it revamped. So justinhoman.com, mx13.com. But the best right now is social media. Justin Homan Instagram, Justin Homan Facebook, and I'm building a platform that will be for classes and for my shows, freestyle shows.
for sure.
And that's the new thing. Websites are getting big again, and Facebook, Instagram are kind of melting into one. Figuring out, maybe even a blog. I don't know. It's just crazy at my age to be asked to be doing these things that I've never been asked to do before.
We're working on the same thing.
I'll take it. Thank
Yeah.
you. I can't be anything but grateful and happy that I'm still able to walk down the stairs. Really.
Yeah, 100%. So,
Absolutely.
good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully catch up again soon, and have a good night.
Thanks. I
Later,
got to put my
Homan.
web TV down.
Yeah. Cover
All right.
that up.
Cool, man. See you later, Justin.
You guys.
See
See
ya.
ya.